calling all stations. Clear the air lanes, clear all air lanes for the big broadcast.
Hello everyone, I am Zazubaar, and welcome to this week's episode of the Sons of Serizawa podcast. It is episode... I always say that, and then I realize I don't actually
70.
know. Oh! Look at this kid. Oh, right, because the last one was 69. Right, I forgot.
Dude, oh, we did not make a joke about that. Anyway,
I did in the description. I realized.
Did you?
Yeah, well, when I was uploading it, I was like, oh, it's episode 69. How about that? And I was like, I better...
Well, that's really cool. I'm glad you realized that and made a joke in the description. It's a shame nobody reads those things.
So thank you for your compliment. It touches my heart. It makes me get up in the morning. So joining
You must not get up most mornings.
No, I don't. To be honest, no. I don't usually get up until the afternoon. No. So joining me, I have, of course, Dylan McCandless, a.k.a. Super DM64.
Hi, everybody.
And Andres Perez, a.k.a. Kaiju Noir.
Hello, people of the internet.
David will be here later. I don't know in what capacity. He'll probably be on his phone driving. And he probably
Risking his life.
Well, he always is. I mean, he works at McDonald's, so he risks his life on a day-to-day basis, I feel. But what I was going to say is that he may or may not have a segment ready for tonight's kind of differently structured episode of the Sons of Serizawa podcast. We've been talking about doing different segments from each of us on this podcast for a while. We tried to make it happen last season, just never did. Andres always had a lot of news to talk about, and we were like, yeah, let's just go off that because we already have that ready to go. So let's just do it.
Well, yeah, we only had like 2 segments planned last season. It was the problem.
Right.
So it mostly just became a matter of Andres reading news stories and the rest of us going, that was a thing. So about DBZ.
There was a lot of that, I think. But
Yeah, because apparently all we ever talk about is just DBZ and Ninja Turtles or some other
all the
bullshit
time.
like that.
Ninja Turtles. That hardly ever comes up.
I like Ninja Turtles.
According to some people.
I guess we talk about it enough then to piss off those particular kind of people. But we're not going to try and piss off those particular people tonight. We're going to try and keep this mostly Ninja Turtle free. Because, I mean, who wants their green slimy footprints all over your floor? I mean, it's gross.
Who wants their heroes in a half shell?
I mean, why would you just want half a shell? What does that even mean? It's a full shell. It's they can go inside of it, can't they? I mean, it's a shell. Like, how is it half a shell? Anyway, so we're going to try some different segments out tonight on this week's episode of the Sons of Serizawa podcast. It seems like we just have 2. Like I guess we had last season. So I guess things haven't changed that much. But the segment that I've concocted, I'm going to try and keep up on the regular. And we do this only every 2 weeks, so it'll probably last for at least a little bit. Mine's going to be a little bit more of a... How do you even describe it? Mine's going to involve Bigfoot. I guess that's the best way to put it. And it's going to be a little bit more of a like, well, I heard this story, I'm going to recount it to you guys, and we're going to try and make fun of it, and we'll try and also come up with our opinions on it. But, as always, before we get to that potential nonsense, we'll see how it goes. Let's jump over to my beautiful Mexican child, Andres Perez, a.k.a. Kaiju Noir, with shit you may or may not care about, with Andres Perez, a.k.a. Kaiju Noir, as I said before already.
Okay, so the one of the news that I wanted to bring up, just to get it out of the way, was the fact that it was announced a couple of weeks back that Nintendo formally announced its plans on discontinuing the Wii U console, which was something that was heavily rumored after the announcement of the Nintendo Switch. But even when the Nintendo Switch was announced, they still said, don't worry, it's not going to replace the console. We're still going to have two consoles at the same time. It's not going to replace the Wii U. It's not going to replace the 3DS.
Jesus,
and everyone
can they
was
afford
like,
that?
I don't know. It's like everyone's looking back on their Nintendo's past history and like, bullshit.
How can they
And
afford
so-
that? They're not competing with Microsoft and Sony at all, are they?
Listen, Nintendo, you're losing this console thing. You've been losing this console thing for a long time. You're way too gimmicky. You just need to sit back, man, and just start raking in money from your IP. That's all you need to do. You've got enough beloved IP that you
The
can
thing
just
is
rake in the dough.
Well, then
That's all
what
you
do
gotta
you
do.
do?
They-
License
they
those
try-
characters out?
The thing is,
Do it.
they're
Do
starting to
everything.
do
I
that
don't-
with like the announcement of the Super Mario Run game for the iOS and Android, I believe. Like they're starting to
That's
like
just because
take-
Pokemon Go was successful.
Yeah. But the
Why
thing,
don't you take Legend of Zelda or Metroid and create like the first good video game movie ever? Like, let's do that. Like, and
Do
then
you
just
think-
start raking in the dough.
Do you think that those characters are too bizarre for the film?
no,
film
I don't
medium?
think so. I mean, the Aliens series is still pretty popular, like the movie
Not in-
series.
Not in a post Guardians of the Galaxy world, no.
I guess
Right.
not.
With once you
Is there
got
a good
Guardians of the
story
Galaxy,
to Metroid? Like, what's the story to Metroid? Is it good?
you've got
All I
you
know is
basically
that
got
all I know is she's a bounty hunter, and you don't find out she's a chick until the end of the game, which could be really cool in a movie. Like they're always wearing the armor and shit, and then you find out it's a chick.
That's
and
interesting.
her,
How you
her,
wouldn't
parent,
want?
her family was killed by were killed by space pirates, so she was like raised by a tribe of space birds, and so she ended up joining some like Galactic Federation army before she eventually left and did her own shit, I believe.
They could.
She's basically
They couldn't
Boba
teach
Fett.
her how to fly, though, could they?
I'm
She's
pretty sure
basically Boba
she
Fett on
flies her own.
steroids,
She has her
but
own
she-
ship to fly from planet to planet.
Well, sure, but she can't fly herself.
She rolls
no,
around.
she
She's got
doesn't
a
have-
cannon arm.
yeah, she can't fly, but she can roll.
Well, I guess that's the next best thing.
Yeah. Basically, like imagine like Indiana Jones, except that she's a girl, wears Iron Man armor, and she's in space.
I mean, we
Alright.
live in a world where aren't they doing a Pokemon movie?
I'd
Like
watch
if you
that
can
on Netflix.
if you can conceive of a way to do that, then you can do.
They've done
Like-
anime Pokemon movies for like the last 15 years now.
I guess it all
But aren't
depends
they
on how Pokemon does. They're doing one. It's gonna happen. Legendary's doing
Didn't
it.
they-
They're probably gonna make a lot of money.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah, aren't they
true.
doing-
Yeah, they bought the rights. I
Yeah, they're
forgot
doing a
I
live
announced
action
that.
thing, aren't they?
Oh, I wonder
Yeah.
how that's gonna turn out. Oh. I mean,
know. I
how do
wonder
you
what the fuck
approach
is
something like that?
I really wanna know what
genuinely
legendary-
think-
really want to know what legendary Pikachu looks like, and can we get a Godzilla crossover,
What?
please?
Okay, no, fuck off with that. Fuck off with that bullshit. Number one. Number two.
Godzilla himself is a legendary Pokemon.
Number two.
Fuck Pac Rim. I want Godzilla to be the very best, like no one ever was.
Okay, number two. Number two. Fuck, I forgot what number two is. No. Or you
Number
do-
B.
Fuck off. Or you do a weird kind of sequel to the anime. Like you either have to do it straight up, hang on. What I mean is a straight up sequel.
Uh-huh.
Hang on, a straight up adaptation is what I meant to say of the anime. Like a straight up, just like this is the anime in movie form. This is the best way you can possibly tell that story in this medium, but it's faithful to that story. Or what I meant to say, when I was so rudely interrupted, was you do kind of like I've talked about this with DBZ. You do like a live action movie sequel to the show, where like you do like older characters and everything, and you just have them kind of. It's that world, but it's something has happened to it to make it kind of like modern and gritty and live action or whatever. Just something that makes sense with those archetypes already established, so you can just kind of make something new and fresh and ready to be viewed in that medium, in the film medium, rather than condensing all that showtime into 2 hours and making like a really watered down version of it that people hate. You know?
But how do you make a sequel to a show that never stops running? Like it's been going on.
It wouldn't necessarily be a sequel.
You can just basically make it a sequel to like the first game story,
That's what
which
I'm
they
saying.
kind of already did because they
No,
did.
you
Funny
don't
enough,
make it as
they
a
made
sequel
it.
to the first original Pokemon series, right?
Yeah, or actually, like, funny enough, like, they made an anime, another, like, maybe a year or two ago, they made a short OVA series, I think it was like 4 episodes long, called Pokemon Origins, and it was an adaptation of the game itself. So instead of Ash, you have the main character, Red, and instead of Gary, his main rival, you have Blue. So you have Red, the main character is Red and Blue.
It's not Red Foreman, is it? I mean, I would
No.
play it.
God,
Dude.
I wish.
Dude, would you
It's
play that
basically-
game? If it was Red Foreman, I would play the hell out of that game.
I would.
That's funny, it's
Pikachu,
like-
use the foot up their ass. Like, it'd be great. You know?
Pikachu, get in the ball, you dumbass.
It was funny you said, like, they've actually, in the other video game series, like Pokemon Silver, and even, like, the new game, Pokemon Sun and Moon.
Dumbass, I choose you.
You can
And
do
he
that in
doesn't-
the game,
he
actually.
doesn't even care what
you can give
Pokemon.
them.
He doesn't even care what Pokemon is. He's like, whatever, it's fine. It'll die and I'll get
Summons
another one.
He summons Pikachu, and it's got the fucking voice of Topher Grace.
It's
It's like
Jigglypuff.
Pika-Pee.
It's Jigglypuff versus like Charizard. Because what I've always found interesting about Pokemon is that it's not like
What if
Yu-Gi-Oh.
all of his Pokemon are played by the kids from that '70s show?
Great, beautiful. Eric is definitely Pikachu. No.
Pika-Pee.
I guess he'd have to. I guess he'd have to be though, right? If you're gonna do that weird nothing scenario that only we care about, he'd have to be Pikachu, right? Because they have the clothes. I mean, who else would? But I guess you'd want like somebody he likes, and he doesn't like Eric. Maybe his daughter.
He doesn't like any of them.
No, he likes
I
his
guess
daughter.
I guess he grows to like Hyde.
Yeah, he does. Man, that's what I was thinking. Maybe it's Hyde. Maybe Hyde's Pikachu.
He also briefly likes Jackie for an episode.
Right. I forget why. It's been so long. Anyway, we've gone on a really
because she knew how to
fucking
hold the
weird
flashlight.
tangent. Right. Oh yeah. Who doesn't know how to do? You guys know how to hold the flashlight for your dad, right? Like, come on.
My dad doesn't require flashlight
wait.
holding.
Wii U's shipments of Wii U's to North America have already stopped for the rest of the year, which is kind of suspicious given that we're not even in December yet, the holiday season, which kind of goes to show you that they're really not expecting to sell that much, considering they have nothing going on outside of Pokemon Sun and Moon for the 3DS.
They've got to be kicking themselves. It's a sequel to a popular console. They thought it was going to live on a little longer and they'd be able to phase in this new system. But they're like, this, nobody cares. Like, no, because nobody has a Wii U. Because everybody who had a Wii was like, this is fine. Then it was fine for a couple years, and they got rid of it, and they never thought about buying another one. But they put out this sequel to it, which is, I don't really even understand what's different about it from the original Wii. I never really played the Wii U. Like, I don't really get what it's about, so I don't know what about it either is.
I think that's
different.
Nintendo's fault. That's Nintendo's fault for not pushing. Many people thought that the Wii U wasn't even another console. Many people thought it was just another controller for the system, especially since it shared the exact same name as the last one.
Are you kidding me?
What the fuck is even the difference between the Wii and the Wii U? Like, I have no idea.
There we go. You see, like, you and Dylan don't know what it is, even though it's been around for 4 years.
I have no clue
Yeah,
what the
that's
difference is.
That's Nintendo's fault for not being that's Nintendo's fault for not doing a better job at explaining what their new console is. And it was essentially just a tablet with buttons on the side. And
it was just like a mobile thing. Was it a mobile thing? Like, could you take
No.
No.
It was the whole point of it was you have your controller has a screen, and it was trying to push motion control dual screen gameplay.
But it's
so
not
you can
mobile.
look at this.
So you can't just take
It's
the
not
screen on its
mobile.
own. That's bullshit.
No,
But that's what they're doing with the Switch, aren't they?
That's what they're doing with the
See,
Switch.
I bet that's what
except,
they wanted to do, but they couldn't do it right, so they just made that bullshit. Oh, it's the dual screen gaming. It's great.
It's like they try to sell the fact that you can play, instead of playing the game on the TV, you can play the game on the screen on your controller, but you couldn't move like 10 feet away from the console, otherwise then you'd lose your wireless connection. So basically the second screen was there for like a second screen, so either look up and down at both screens at the same time while you're playing, or sometimes most games just had the controller screen as simply like a menu. So you can like tap on the menu instead of pressing select.
So it's similar to that DS bullshit?
Exactly, yeah. They want to make the DS dual screen gameplay and try to bring it to a console.
Well, I mean, that's a little different, because that's all mobile, and it kind of... they use it in a way to serve just the mobile gaming. But for a console game, you just want to look at the TV. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And the thing is, they even brought Shigeru Miyamoto, the man behind Mario, Zelda, and Star Fox, and all those guys, all those creations. They tried to get him to, in a move of desperation, try to get this like veteran Nintendo video game developer to create something for the Wii U to prove that dual screen gameplay can work. And what they ended up with was Star Fox Zero. They made a new Star Fox game, but it turned out to be a huge disappointment because nobody wanted to constantly switch up and back and forth at both screens.
I heard about that. I heard about that on a podcast. Yeah. Yeah,
with Star Fox, like the TV screen features a third-person perspective, so you can see all the enemies around you. But if you want to be aiming, you have to look at the screen on your controller, which gives you a first-person view, so you can accurately shoot. But if you try to shoot while only look at the TV, your aiming is like off by a certain amount of distance.
See, I don't have the attention span for that kind of bullshit.
Yeah, and of course, like some people have pointed out that you can switch the first person and third person view on the TV alone. So you can skip the whole dual screen thing altogether. And everyone complained about the motion control for Star Fox Zero, and it's like that's another thing you can turn off. So the only way to make the game anywhere near playable is to turn off the two gimmicks that it was designed for.
Well, fuck.
So, yeah, the Wii U was pretty much a failure, and like I mentioned, the Wii sold over 100 million units, while the Wii U only sold 13. So it didn't even make like a fraction of the amount that the Wii made, and Wii U...
They only sold 13 Wii U's?
13 million. 13 million compared to 100 million.
Oh...
13 million compared to 100 million.
No, I didn't genuinely think they only sold 13, but that would have been amazing. I kind of hoped in my heart that's what you meant, because I was like, well, 13 what?
They just need to partner up with one of the other two big companies, and then whichever other company they partner up with will officially win the video game wars.
Well, Sony's already won. Microsoft is like, we don't know what to do anymore. Bill Gates doesn't care.
Because once you have one of the two big guys being like, oh yeah, and by the way, we have Smash Brothers now, the game is over.
Sony tried to have Smash Brothers with PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
I never played that. Apparently it was fine. Was
it
fine?
It was thoroughly okay.
Right.
That's why I'm saying that Nintendo should just give up and partner with Sony, because then Sony could really have Smash Brothers.
Right. All right, well, what's the next one?
Okay, the next one is another bit of news of YouTube fucking up once again. This was also something that happened like a week or two ago. I love that
you've kept all the wonderful pastiches of all your different news stories consistent. Like, we've got a gaming thing that's just like very specific, and somebody's fucking up in the gaming industry. Then you got somebody fucking up in the YouTube industry. And then at the end,
we got Power Rangers the Power Ranger movie people fucking up again.
Right, fucking up in the movies. I love it. It's great. I love that.
I'm amazed.
I love that
it's
we
like
have
poetry,
these kind of
it rhymes.
segments. Exactly. It's like you have such this specific angry flavor. I love it. Spicy. Just like
add that I'm also
just
very
all your
impressed.
fellow Latinas.
I also add that I am very impressed that Bill knows the word pastiche. It's a good word.
Thank you. Did I use it in the right context? I'm not even sure.
I'm not certain either.
You don't even know what it means. It's great. That's the beauty of big words. Nobody knows what they mean, but we've all heard them. It's great.
It really does make us sound like pseudo-intellectuals who have no idea what we're talking about because we don't know how the real world works.
I don't dispute to not be that. I've always made that clear. I'm a wild man. I'll say what I want. I don't care.
This basement seems to have moved to Japan, which is interesting. I don't know how your mother keeps all of her basement stuff in Japan. Like, how does that work?
That's really inconvenient. You should talk to her about getting
usually
something
through
better.
FedEx.
Ooh.
FedEx.
Like, did you choose to move to Japan? Did you choose to move to Japan, or was your mom like, "Listen, Andres, we're outsourcing the basement. It's going to Japan. So pack up your shit."
See, it's more like you use her house as storage for your shit, because it's like you just left it all there. You don't live there anymore, and you've taken whatever you needed here. So it's almost like you have like a basement in California that you can't access.
I can now.
I guess it's more of an attic.
I bet you they're actually using my room as a new basement.
I would.
I can now confirm, Bill, that you did not use pastiche correctly.
I figured I didn't. What is it really?
It's actually
not that I care.
It's actually just a fancier word for homage. It means you imitate the style of an artist or work.
I say that
So.
Andres is imitating a lot of styles here, though. No, no, fuck him.
The Japanese style, the American style, the
That's
Mexican
what I'm
style.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
He pastiches them all.
So anyways, a little bit of YouTube fucking up again news. A lot of big-name YouTubers have reported some weird phenomenon going on where whenever they would upload a YouTube video, they would somehow be losing subscribers in, like, tens and hundreds. And after, like, maybe a period of a week, then, like, their subscriber count begins to slowly crawl back up to where it was once before. And another weird glitch thing that's been happening is that whenever these YouTubers would often upload videos, they would notice that their view count has lowered, and certain people have messaged these bigger YouTubers by saying like, "Hey, I'm subscribed to you, but for whatever reason, I can't see your videos outside of my subscription feed." So it's like if you're the type of person who tends to follow videos through your recommended section or through search results, you won't find it anywhere unless you look specifically in your subscriber count, unless you were somehow YouTube automatically unsubscribed you from your YouTube channel. So many individuals are pissed at YouTube once again because for whatever reason people aren't able to see their favorite YouTubers. And so it's kind of the thing that kind of has me worried, thinking like, what if people aren't able to see my videos? Although luckily I haven't lost a significant amount of subscribers. I just noticed like maybe a drop in like 5. Actually, no, maybe like 3 at the most.
Why do they do this?
I honestly have no idea.
It's such a dumb idea. They're just so the idea is because I kind of got lost
before,
there, but I've heard about
before,
this a little bit. The idea is that they're phasing out some videos that you're not paying attention to necessarily.
That is true. That was confirmed like a while back.
See,
if you don't watch,
I want to select that myself.
And the thing is, if you don't want that to happen, like for me, I always thought that the whole point of a subscribe button was to, I like this person, I want to follow this person, I'm going to subscribe to this person. Now there's an extra step.
That is generally what the word subscribe means, but somebody
right.
YouTube.
But apparently there's been this is a feature that's people, almost like 90% of YouTubers, I bet, like ignore. And that is if you look at any YouTuber and you look at the subscribe button, next to the subscribe button is a bell. So you have to press that bell symbol so that you can actually get every single update from that channel.
So turn on notifications. Bullshit. What the fuck? Why do we even push the subscribe button anymore then?
I don't know, because so the subscribe button, I guess, is kind of pointless now if YouTube's just going to take away.
It's the same as a like, I think. It's the same as a like.
So I guess there's 2 steps if you want to really follow these YouTubers and don't want YouTube to automatically kick you off.
That's fucking madness. That's fucking
or decide not to
madness,
show
dude.
Or decide not to show you videos. Like it's really weird. There's this YouTuber I recently collaborated with, D-Man1954. He's a fan of ours and he's a pretty good person. He's a really good person. And
that's good to hear.
I
hope
subscribed
that most of our fans are good people.
I subscribed to his channel like a week ago, and I've seen some videos appear on my YouTube, on my subscriber feed. But then when he uploaded the chat that he and I did of our in-depth spoiler analysis of Shin Godzilla, I didn't see it in my subscriber feed. So I had to go to his channel to actually find the video.
That's crazy. But you're subscribed to him and you follow his stuff regularly too, right?
Now I do, yeah, but I didn't see the newest video that he uploaded, like, yesterday.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. Why? Again, I ask why. And it's always the same answer, too. They have to update these things to get paid, because that's all they do. But even still, just leave it alone. Unless there's a problem, then fix it. But otherwise, just leave it the fuck alone.
Oh, and if they try to fix it, they come up with
spend all
bullshit
that
like
time,
YouTube Heroes.
Maybe spend all that time and resources trying to, I don't know, find ways to reduce buffering problems or
yeah, that would be nice.
RAM issues, or maybe find a way to
be
make
fair, a lot of that, the buffering issues is not their fault. That all depends on your network provider and depending on where you are. Not all of it, but a lot of it usually is. And if it is because of them, they usually put up a thing that's like, we're having issues right now. Just hang on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. fine. But still, it doesn't hurt to work the issue from both sides.
Sure.
Especially if they're just aching for something to do. Also, maybe try to put your heads together and find a way to make the company profitable, because that's a problem.
Certainly.
And the thing is, like, YouTube, I think I mentioned this in the last recording, that YouTube wants to, it wants more sponsors. It wants to get, like, more money. It wants it wants other companies it wants more companies to, give in to become, like, sponsors, so they can make more ad revenue. But I guess in order to entice more potential sponsors, they want to come off as more professional than they actually are, maybe. So it's like maybe they're trying to phase out the smaller YouTube channels, like anything that's below Markiplier or PewDiePie levels. They're trying to phase them out and that's why they're always partnering up with big studios and have studios, release more movie trailers on YouTube, or try to get like people like Ellen DeGeneres or the Jimmy Kimmel Show.
Kimmy Jimmel.
Kimmy Jimmel. and Fimi Jalen, and try to get them. You always see them, and Slay Jeno and Bonin O'Crian.
Oh fuck! Let's stop this before somebody gets hurt.
All of those
Saturday Night Live. Trying to get like movie studios and TV networks to upload videos onto YouTube. Try to get more professional people on YouTube, and try to phase out the more lower like individuals on YouTube. Maybe they're trying to establish a hierarchy, trying to favor the bigger companies that aren't uploading to YouTube than the smaller people like you and I, as a way of coming off as a more legitimate company for advertisers and sponsors to come on board.
Okay, so here's what I think that they've tried to do and have done it in a really roundabout and dumb way, and they should just do more directly, and it'll probably be better in the long run. They're clearly trying to make it harder for people to make a YouTube account and make videos, because they're turning it into something different than what a lot of people, not everybody, originally used it for. Now they're a regular content provider. What they used to be was just whatever people would upload, just the like web sharing, just whatever crazy shit people would put up. So my point is, anybody who wanted to show a video on the internet would upload something to YouTube. But they wouldn't be like a regular creator channel provider like they clearly are trying to make it now. You know what I mean? And they didn't really push that a long time ago. They just kind of... A long time ago. It was like fucking 10 years ago. But, feels like a long time ago now. And now they
especially in internet time.
They push that creative, regular content thing a lot, whereas opposed to now... It used to just be... Here's a couple videos of me and my friends kicking each other in the nuts. Like, it's not really like that anymore. Those videos don't make the kind of traction on YouTube that stuff does now. Like, that kind of... I feel like that age of YouTube is kind of gone, The really good getting kicked in the nuts video has had its day. I feel like it peaked when that guy jumped into that frozen lake. That was kind of... That was the big penultimate moment.
I think now we have Vine for that.
That's exactly it. We have Facebook, we have Twitter. You can upload videos to all of them now. We have Snapchat. If you want to show somebody a video, or if you want to film an event, you put it on your phone, you put it on Facebook, you put it on your laptop or whatever. You don't have to put it on YouTube anymore. YouTube now is more for like people who want to create content themselves and have a place to show it publicly and regularly. To have people able to view their content, It's like TV now. It's TV. It's not like just picture sharing or video sharing anymore. Anyway, I feel like I've said a lot of shit that's just kind of weird and doesn't make sense, and everybody's just kind of in awe of that. So why don't we move on?
That's all right.
Why don't we move on to the next story if anybody else has nothing else to say?
All right. So the last story I have for today is that since we made our we had our discussion on the recently revealed toy for the Megazord, for the 2017 Power Rangers movie Megazord. There are images that came out in the day since, and the day since that recording, where we now have
I'm doing a podcast.
A really
Leave me
good
alone.
look at the individual
Please,
Zords
I'm recording
that
right
will make
now.
up
I have my mic muted.
the, in my opinion, underwhelming Megazord. And I feel like these Zords are... I don't know if they're better or worse than the Megazord that was revealed to us. I'll send the image to you guys for a direct direct comparison.
See,
I think they're better in that. I think they're better in that at least they have an aesthetic direction to them, and they're not just like a weird, like jumbled mess. And a couple of them, I would argue, actually look pretty decent. Like I still think the Tyrannosaurus and the Pterodactyl are pretty what I would expect from a Hollywood movie. That Mastodon, though, the fuck with that Mastodon.
The thing is with the Pteranodon, the Pteranodon keeps reminding me of a modern day like bow and arrow because of all the holes in it. I'll send an image for comparison.
Her weapon was a bow and arrow, so I think that's the idea.
Yeah,
I guess so, but like I don't know. It's like when I think of a flying machine, I don't think gaping holes in its wings.
No. Yeah, these are all very kind of rough abstractions of what the original was. This is why I don't think this movie might play now. 5 years ago? No. Yeah, 5 years ago, maybe 6 or 7, this would have been fine. If they were going to say we're making a modern-day gritty Power Rangers movie, this would have been fine. Like, based on the stuff that we'd seen, this probably would have been... People would have been like, this is better than what we could have possibly expected. But nowadays, with the stuff that's popular and the kind of bars that are being pushed in terms of what you're able to adapt into live action convincingly, this is just really watered down and just and very rough and not really what I think is going to emotionally resonate with people. It's like
for people's expectations, especially after the Marvel movies, it's like we live in a day and age where the Guardians of the Galaxy can look like the Guardians of the Galaxy. Iron Man can look like Iron Man. Spider-Man can look like Spider-Man.
Well, they're all changed from the comic book version, but they're all done in a smart, but it's all smart way.
In a respectful manner.
Well, but in a way it's a smart way to make it more faithful, to the character and to the momentary kind of like emotional response. It's all done smartly around that. This is just, well, big robots are kind of goofy, so let's just make them kind of abstract weapons that are kind of shaped like dinosaurs. That's what I do gotta
ask. It's like I initially thought I made a Facebook post saying, "Oh, okay, they're not robot dinosaurs. No, that'd be too silly. So now they're alien robot dinosaurs," and I'm making that assumption because
is that the idea that they're based on alien dinosaur creatures, that they're not actually based on Earth dinosaurs?
Here's the thing: I would believe that, except the toys for the Morpher feature the natural-looking dinosaurs on the power coins themselves. Which,
what if the
once
Zords
again,
are older?
I have a link.
Sorry.
I have a link to show you a direct comparison, once again.
What if the Zords are older than the Powers, though, and the power coins, therefore?
But then why are the power coins themselves depict the animals themselves, the natural Earth dinosaurs themselves?
Right, I'm saying maybe the Zords came from from space, wherever Zordon came from, and thus they've made, and then when they got to Earth, they were like, well, shit, we need people to fight for us because I'm just a head in a tube and you're just a goofy robot. So we need to make like powers to power people up so they can fight. So they make the Power Rangers, and they base the coins, therefore, on the Earth versions of those animals because they find out. Wouldn't it be
a super huge a really contrived convenience for there to be animals in Earth and space that both vaguely have the same shape?
Of course, but dude, we already have that with people in Power Rangers, though.
It's not statistically unlikely,
no,
actually.
I don't think that's a problem.
Given the infinite nature
but I mean, it's Power Rangers. Who cares?
Given the infinite nature of the universe, we have to assume that if life exists on other planets, and statistically it most likely does, then at least some of it has to look like what we have here on Earth.
Many people would argue against. Many people would argue against that. Many people would think that actually certain scientists believe that aliens in other planets would have a vastly different evolutionary.
Well, it all depends.
System.
But we can't know that. Based on the evidence,
it all depends on how similar.
But like the chances of finding aliens that are that have life forms like our own is super. Scientifically speaking, the chances of aliens having the same shape and appearance as the ones seen on Earth is super small.
But there's still a chance. It's
definitely improbable. It's definitely improbable, but it's not at all impossible.
Exactly.
And what you were saying about them having vastly different evolutions, yes, but it all depends on how similar the planet they come from is to Earth. As far as we can tell, if they evolved on a planet that was similar enough to Earth and had similar enough conditions, they may have evolved along similar lines. And we have to assume, given, again, the infinite nature of the universe, that out there somewhere there are planets comparable to Earth.
And also, if they probably come from Eltar or whatever fucking, if they use that name, that's where Zordon originally came from in the original show. If they use that name for the planet that Zordon and Alpha come from in this version, would they come from there? And do they have these things walking around there now? Or are these just the robot versions of what may have existed in the past on that planet? Who knows? But what I was going to ask is, do we know that for a fact that these are alien versions of the dinosaurs we have on Earth? Or are these just weapons that are just kind of vague abstractions of what Zordon and Alpha saw on Earth? Has it been confirmed either way?
It hasn't been confirmed either way.
Okay.
A lot of this is just based on the fact that the Mastodon has 8 legs and the Triceratops has 6 legs.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I totally buy that based on what I'm seeing here, but until that's confirmed, I don't know. Who cares? But again, even if it is confirmed, it's Power Rangers. In that show, they have so many alien races that are just people, and we're already probably going to have that in this with Zordon. So
and Rita.
And Rita. So I mean, I don't really care. I just care. I don't. Again, care is a strong word, but I just react negatively. There we go. To the shit designs. Like, they're not total shit. They're just dumb, you know? Like, it's just a dumb kind of watered down version, which sucks.
And I just feel like it's overcomplicated. And what makes me, I actually looked back at the original leaked footage, leaked pictures of the concept art that I think, and I'm not sure if I ever commented on them or if you guys talked about it on DFOS, if you guys remembered. I'm not sure, but in retrospective, I think
we talked about that on SOS.
Okay, looking back into it now, I think I actually prefer the aesthetics to the supposed leaked concept art than what actually have here, because these ones, unlike the final designs, which have a very overly complicated Transformers approach, these old supposed leaked pictures of concept art actually have flat, simplified flat panel designs. It's like, even if you don't like the shape themselves,
but they're just like
that is
planes.
True.
They're not.
Yeah,
like,
they have.
At least these are kind of robot-y. Like, these aren't really robots. They're just kind of planes that are shaped like that. Which I guess is still accurate to the original version, but I would prefer like a full-on robot pterodactyl.
But at least the aesthetic is, I like the more simplified flat panel aesthetic, which I think I mentioned it on Facebook a couple times, that I really miss the aesthetic that Pacific Rim tried to bring back, where it's very simple. Like I said, I keep saying flat, colorful panels as opposed to these weird holes and jutting spikes and bony structures.
An attempt for realism has sort of aesthetically ruined robots, I guess.
And I wonder what is up with the very overly complicated approach to designing mechs in movies nowadays. Do mech designers feel the need to make things? So are they looking for a challenge? Do they say, this stuff right here, this is way too easy to animate and draw. We want to challenge ourselves by making something that's more difficult to draw consistently and more difficult to animate.
Well, I think they try to hyperbolize, I guess is the word, if it is a word, how you would realistically structurally support something like that. And panels, if you're going to get it to move and do what you'd want a big robot to do, probably not what you want to do. What you want is more of like something that's got a lot of different kind of sizes and shapes into it, so it's got some structural support. So in theory, the Transformers would probably be better to structurally support themselves than the Pacific Rim robots. Again, in theory, that's theoretical. We'd never know. These things don't really exist. It's all a bunch of bullshit made up by people who have a lot of money and are filming naked women. Which, I mean, I would like that life, but I'm just saying that we cannot use this necessarily to judge realistically how this would be done. But I think that's the mindset, and I think that might be what's ruining robots, or just kind of making me less interested in them. Cause
you know what we need to do?
Boring.
We need to make robots great again.
We need to build a robot that looks like what you see as a good robot, and just have it just do cool shit, like, I don't know, go to the beach and hang out with chicks and maybe, I don't know, threaten the White House. I don't know.
Need to make a sequel to this real life giant robot.
See, they always say, it's a real life giant robot, but it moves 2 feet, right? Like, it can't really do what you want a giant robot
no, my
to
friend.
do.
let me introduce you to a little known, I'm not sure, a vaguely known robot from my childhood.
Yeah, but Andres, that's a car. It's a car which is, what is that thing called again? I saw that too.
Robosaurus.
Robosaurus. Yeah, I saw that once at a show. Very cool. Not a robot though. It's a car with a very kind of rough, sort of like dinosaur backhoe crane thing on top of it, so it kind of approximates a robot, but it's not a robot.
It's a step forward, though.
It's a backhoe, Andres, with a flamethrower in it. You know what a backhoe is, right? Like a construction.
No, I don't.
Oh,
a backhoe. Okay.
Yeah, like one of those things they use to like dig up roads and shit and build construction and everything. That's what it is. But it's on top of a truck or some shit. It's bullshit.
That's when
but he's got arms.
It's cool. I mean, it's cool. Again, I'm not saying it's not cool looking in the moment, but it's not a robot. I don't think they ever sold it as a robot, though. I think they're like, it's a car with a backhoe on top of it, shoots fire. Ain't that cool? And I'm like, yeah, that sounds awesome. I'd pay to see that, and I did. Anyway.
All right.
So do you guys?
Is
that all the shit that we may or may not care about?
There was one thing I want to talk about, and that is I've noticed that this sort of behavior is on when I talked about the Megazord, and I noticed this in the comments, and I even noticed this on a lot of people arguing this on Toku Legion when I first shared the images. It seems like a lot of people react very negatively to anybody who is negatively towards the suit, these new designs. Anyone who speaks negatively, they're quick to say, "Oh, you're just a fanboy. You're just an elitist. You're just all about your nostalgia."
Yes.
It's like, "Oh, you just don't like it because it's different." And it's like, to an extent, yes, we are nostalgic,
but it's
and like
different
I said, like
in a bad way. That's the key thing here. It's not just because it's different. It's different in a way that I don't fucking like. It looks dumb.
Yeah, it's like I don't like the aesthetic. Is that so hard to comprehend?
I don't mind the suits.
It's like,
though.
sure.
Oh, it's not. It's just the Zords for me. I like the suits. Sorry, I don't like Rita's design. Pretty much just the suits is like the only thing I really like.
I gave up trying to make people understand that distinction during the G 2014 Footgate.
Right. You don't like the feet, but you like everything else. Yeah, well. There's no specific kind of poignancy to the internet. It's all just vague kind of. Andres, if I just asked you, do you like the Power Rangers designs, you would say no, right?
I would be like, they're okay.
Yeah, okay, me too, but okay implies that you have problems with it, which means bad.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the idea.
But of course everyone will get like jump on you and see like, you don't like it because you're just a fanboy.
See, I think the movie will probably be fine because I think the Zords will probably be in it for like 2 minutes, and that'll probably be based on what I saw in that trailer.
Right.
So I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about this. I'm not worried about this ruining the movie.
Yeah, we're not talking about the movie itself. We're just simply talking about this sort of thing.
Right.
Isn't that who the movie is supposed to be for, though? Is fanboys? Like, what's the
I don't
problem?
know.
I don't know at this point.
Yeah, because everyone who
there's so
many new Power Ranger fans nowadays who are watching
the thing. Power Rangers
Dino
is pretty
Thunder.
popular right now. It is the thing, like kind of
with the new generation of children,
because of the nostalgia of their parents. I think mixed in with the nostalgia that they're very self-aware of now with the show. I think it's become kind of popular again, and because of the easily accessible kind of nature to watch the old shows. So. Yeah, no, I think it's definitely popular again, and I think that this movie will probably do enough business that they'll probably do another one, and I think that it'll probably be fine. I just think that aesthetically it'll be kind of dated and kind of just blah, and they might get us to a decent place with the story. You see, I think if anything, it's probably going to TMNT 2014 it. I think that's probably what we're likely to get, which is sad, but at this point that's where it seems to be leaning. It'll probably be better for me than that because I'm more of a Power Rangers fan than I am TMNT, I suppose. Or I know more about it, I guess. I have more of an appreciation for it, but I don't know. I'm not confident in it being like, oh, that was great. That was like, that really did it for me. I don't think it's going to be like that.
Also, as certain Godzilla meme master Dr. Mafuni once mentioned on Godzilla on Toku Legion, he made a counter argument for the people who said, "Oh, you just don't like it because it's new and different." He put up multiple comparisons to the Dinobots, saying, "New and different, huh?"
Right. I didn't mind the Dinobots as much as I mind this, though. And again, I guess that's maybe because I'm not as much of a Transformers fan as I am a Power Rangers fan.
Mm.
Well, the Dinobots, say what you will about them, they looked more like dinosaurs than these do, and one of them had two heads for some
They're
reason.
also, like, they're fully robotic, like Jurassic Park, but they're robots kind of dinosaurs. These aren't really like that. They're like, again, they're abstract weapons that kind of look like weird, gritty alien dinosaurs. And that's kind of
And let's be real, if there's any reason to knowingly go to a theater and sit through a Michael Bay Transformers movie, it's Optimus Prime riding a flamethrowing Grimlock.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I watched it on Netflix a year later. I mean, it's just...
That's why I watched an illegal copy of it.
Oh, good. Admit that on air. That'll. While you're in Japan, it doesn't matter.
I saw it in theaters for free because I'm a patron of the arts.
Yeah, sure.
For free.
So that,
Dylan, do you know what pastiche means?
Yes, I do actually.
Now, do you remember what the actual definition was? Now it's been like a half hour since we talked about that.
Yeah, it's essentially a more fancy word for homage. It's
right.
imitating
Good on you.
the style of an artist or a work of art.
Your memory lasts 30 minutes. We're all very impressed. So, guys, I want to talk about Bigfoot. So, I'm gonna be doing a new segment.
How surprising!
Well, I'm gonna be doing a new segment on the show, which is pretty much I come on and try to defend my love of this cryptid shit, while we also make fun of it, and also try to determine whether or not we deem what I bring to the table in any way plausible or real, or if it's bullshit, why, and what we think's going on. This will pretty much be like the news update, but for cryptids, and it won't always be like new news. Like the stuff I'm bringing on tonight, most of it happened like over the course of this past year, but not recently necessarily, except for 2 of them. And the rest of them is like stuff that happened over the past like 5 years. And I figured that that'll still be fun because I'm kind of my purpose with this episode, with this current segment that I'm doing tonight, is I'm gonna get you guys caught up on the modern realm of Bigfoot because it's a fascinating landscape of internet controversy and it's a rabbit hole that I want to take you guys down.
Thank God.
But
just what I've been clamoring for so long.
But
so is this new segment called Bill Worcester defends the Patterson footage, or?
No, we're not talking about the Patterson footage tonight. We'll cover that some other time. Although we talked about that a lot on that DFOS episode, we might not have to cover that again. But no, this one we're going to cover some more recent stuff, past 5 years, like I said. But again, we won't always be doing that. We will go back and cover old stuff. I want to talk about the Freeman footage at some point. I want to talk about.
Are you ever going to talk about the controversial fake documentary surrounding mermaids and megalodons?
Yeah,
that aired on the
that
Discovery
is,
Channel.
Okay, yeah, that is the thing. This will not just be Bigfoot. This will also be all manner of weird creatures that may or may not live in the dark, cryptids as they're called. But Bigfoot is the one that I care about the most. It's the one that I put any kind of real interest into, like, regularly. All the other ones I'm kind of like, yeah, whatever. I guess they're fine. But if anything comes up that I find interesting, I'll bring it up and we can talk about it. But again, this will largely be I find older stuff and bring it forward and be like, isn't this kind of weird and funny? But also, could it have happened? Is it real? As they would have asked on Lost Tapes. So we're going to be having some fun with this, but we're also going to be fucking putting on our thinking caps, putting on our thinking mullets, and thinking about the implications of this stuff. If it's
I don't want to put on my thinking mullet.
I don't have a mullet, thinking or otherwise. So.
But you don't have hats. Well, Andres has a hat on. He's got a nice little warm winter hat on. He took it off. Took it off like the people could see him. So.
I mean, I could get a hat, but
I can't see you anyway now, so it doesn't matter. You turned off your cam.
Both of you turned off your cams a while ago.
I told you both to because it was
computer...
going to improve the quality, but it did already because just D and I did, so it's fine.
All right, I'll turn mine off as well.
My computer fucked up. Like I was seeing you guys and myself on my screen, but apparently you weren't seeing me. I don't know why.
I don't know what happened.
Weird.
Yeah. All right, so let's start off with a more recent one. I'm going to send you guys the link to this. There's a couple of recent Bigfoot sightings, and I only picked stuff that's caught on video. I didn't look into any kind of spoken word sightings. Maybe we can do that next week. But this one is a drone like an aerial drone video of a Bigfoot. I picked this one because it's the most kind of compelling visually, not too exciting. Like, that was kind of the shit thing about what I found that happened in the past year. There wasn't a lot of really tantalizing stuff, but don't worry, I've got some tantalizing stuff that didn't happen this year. It's still interesting here. Here's the link to the drone footage. It's on a Fox News site, so, you know.
So I'm guessing this is going to be like an aerial equivalent of the Patterson footage, basically. Like,
yeah,
it's
pretty much. And that's the thing. All of the ones I have here, they're all kind of the same. Most of them are probably bullshit. Like, this is, and again, I'm picking this first. I figured lead with our best foot forward. This is the one that I think is the most kind of compelling. There's not a lot to it. This is a video of a guy talking about it. So skip to about, where is it? Skip to about 26 seconds and just watch from there. And he'll zoom in on it, and you can see it a little better in a couple minutes. But it appears to just be, for those of you watching at home, this aerial drone. I'm sure all of you know what that is. You live in 2016. You know what a fucking drone is. But it's a weird bipedal figure, and it's clearly bipedal, I think, running across a field. It jumps over a road, and then it jumps into some light brush, and it just stays there and disappears. Now, as Dee and Andres are probably noticing watching this, if they're watching it right now, it's very far away. Like, the drone operator tries to get in close, but he can't really in time. Actually, and I'll mention this because I have some insider knowledge onto this. I've been taking a drone class at my school, so I kind of have an insight into this now. Aren't I great?
There's a drone class?
Yeah.
I guess so. I assume that using drones would be a much easier and more convenient method of getting aerial shots.
Yeah, and I kind of figured that, you know, if there's any validity to this Bigfoot thing at all, that we'd see more of it given the advent of drones, because you can take these things into remote areas, and as long as you're there and you're confident that you're not going to lose it, you can get some crazy footage that you could never get otherwise. And that's what we're kind of seeing here. Not real, I mean, it's a field, but whatever. But we've never really seen this angle of a supposed Bigfoot sighting before. And it's got some drawbacks and it's got some positives. Positives first. It allows us to get a full-on, unencumbered by the person's point of view perspective of the Bigfoot doing whatever it's doing. If it is a Bigfoot, whatever. It could just be a guy in camouflage, which is what I think this might be. We'll talk about it in a minute. So you can get an unencumbered view by the brush and by the person's hindered perspective. You can just get a view of whatever it's doing, which is kind of what we have here. Big open field, top-down view. It's got nowhere to hide itself on the side. You're not hindered by the person's level point of view. You can see everything. Drawback, it's fucking way high up. We get no detail. It just looks like a vague shape just running across the field. The guy gets down real low, but of course he only gets down real low and zoomed in once it's gone, once it's off into the brush. And what's problematic about this video as well is that it's not like it's not like the woods. It's not like just fucking dense brush. It's just a small patch. It's a small pocket. It's a small pocket of some trees. Now, credibility time. This is a drone. This is not a guy on camera. He can't stay there and wait it out as long as he can. These things have battery lives that are pretty short. They can only last for about 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes max. And with a camera like this on a drone that's probably this size, it's probably closer to like 20 minutes. But even still, you'd think you'd be able to see it, especially if it's a Bigfoot.
Yeah, well,
you
even
can fly
if it
around
is,
and get in there and dig deep and see what's in there. You know what I mean?
Assuming this isn't an elaborate planned hoax, which it very well could be.
Yeah, of course.
How does he supposedly see this thing and say, it's a Bigfoot? Like, how does he know that?
Well, I don't know if he said that. I mean, he probably did, but I just found this on a website. But I mean, well, that's the question. What is it? Is it it's probably a person, but if it's not, what else could it be? It's definitely not a bear. It's definitely, it's either a person or it's a hoax, I think. It's either a person, a hoax, or a Bigfoot, is what I think.
Say, for instance, that I was out, fucking around with the drone because this takes place in an alternate universe where I have interesting hobbies. And I get this footage, and it's not a hoax in any way. I had no planning going into it, but I get this footage. I don't know if my first leap would be, it's a Bigfoot.
He may not have seen but what's a person doing out there? It looks
I don't
pretty
know,
much
but
in
I
the
would-
middle
but
of,
I
I mean,
would've-
there's a road though, but it doesn't really behave. But why would a person run off into the woods when they saw a drone?
I don't know. Those are all good questions. Maybe he's not even running because of the drone. We don't know that. The point is, I would think that it's a person is much more likely than it's a Bigfoot.
Well,
Like,
I
wouldn't
agree
put it
with you, but not for that reason. I say that just because of the way it looks. It's not dark like you would expect a Bigfoot to be, and this is in the middle of the day, it looks like. So obviously it could just be the sheen of the sun on it, and this is a camera high up again, and it's just a silhouette. But again, and there's been like reports like, oh, maybe Bigfoot have light hair as well. Even still, I'm saying it could very easily just be a guy wearing camouflage. Maybe he was out hunting, he saw the drone, didn't want to be caught on film shooting an animal, ran off. Who knows? Or again, it could just be a hoax, and the guy doing the hoax could just be a guy in some dark coverall kind of clothes, just running through the field. So it's way too vague to determine. But Andres, what do you think? You've been quiet.
Well, let's see. I've just been paying attention and replaying the footage, and yeah, it's definitely something living. It definitely looks like something man-shaped, but yeah, it's very vague and there's zero detail whatsoever. This could be just someone wearing dark clothes, just taking a morning stroll. Maybe it's someone who's like obsessed with nature. Maybe it's a hunter. It could be a number of things that, like me, like Bigfoot does not. It's not the first thing that comes to mind. Now, do you know if they ever investigated this? If any people like investigated the spot physically after the drone recorded this footage? Because maybe they could have looked for.
Didn't mention that the drone
Okay,
operator went over, I think, and he was just like, "What?" But
because he could have people can easily go into that specific area and start looking for footprints or whatever.
Well, the thing is, it depends on what kind of setup he had with the drone. If he didn't have, he must have, because this is how you have to operate these things. You have to have GPS and everything telling you where it is. Mm-hmm. But depending on the range he had on it, he could have been a mile away. I mean, he could have been quite a distance away, not too far that he shouldn't have gone over and looked. Again, I don't know if he actually did.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
But you could it's possible to get a team over to see what sort of evidence they could find in that area.
Well, I'm also skeptical about it being a Bigfoot because this is in Idaho. Let's be honest.
Fuck me.
Nothing interesting happens in Idaho.
I did not see this part of the article. This is a bunch of bullshit.
Like, is Idaho even, ever been rumored to have big feet?
Technically, all 50 states have had sightings. But it looks like this video is probably bullshit. Managed to see this guy. It looks like the guy has come clean. Hang on, is this from the original guy, though? Or is this the fucking news people just going, oh, we debunked it?
Maybe they're recreating what they saw.
I mean, I'm sure there are some Bigfoot people in Idaho that would absolutely love for this to be true, just as much as I would love for that old ass picture of Nessie to be true. But I don't think it's true.
No. Well, I don't think it is either. But okay, yeah, no, it's bullshit. The guy came clean about it. Here's the fuck, this is why I should read all these articles. I just saw the video. Well, but this was reported on a bunch of different websites, so I was like, well, I'm just going to get the video. So this is just a link for the video. But this is the second part.
It was at that moment that Bill realized he had been unprofessional.
I mean, I wasn't trying to be professional. I was just trying
This is why people read the articles that they share instead of blindly share them just based on the title alone.
I was just getting a link for the video. Again, I saw this.
I love this second video.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Is it a jackalope or something? Oh no, it's an actual guy dressed up as a Bigfoot.
Wait. Where do you see that? I'm just seeing a guy. Oh. That's great.
Bill, you got played.
Yeah, I did.
Bigfoot.
Well, apparently
really?
It looks like a lot of people got played.
They're just laughing at the viewer.
That's crazy. Wow.
Ah, you dumb fucks.
That's... See, but it's like, I watched it and I was like, well, that'll be something I can talk about. I didn't believe it or anything. I was just like, well, it happened recently. When did it say that happened? What was the date on that? June 14, 2016.
Okay.
So, I was just like, I'll pull this up and we can talk about it. I can tell you why I don't necessarily know what's going on. and I didn't look into it much
Now
more
we
than
do.
that. Yeah.
We solved the mystery, fellas, only here on the SOS.
You know what though? I think that's fun that we got duped on air. I think that's great.
We got duped.
Well, I duped you because I got duped. So you got duped by proxy. Because you guys were still talking about it. Well, I was like, nah, guys, it's bullshit. I'm trying to tell you. It's bullshit. Stop it.
Well, I was pretty sure it was bullshit from the beginning.
We were all like,
theoretically.
we were all like, this is too vague. What the hell's going on?
You should look at the like to dislike ratio on the video itself.
Whoa, it's
The
probably
second
mad. Wait, which one?
The second video.
Well, this one is on Time Magazine's website, and this one, it's kind of, and the problem with all these is that they're kind of the same thing. They're all the same theme. It's just a vague shape walking through the middle of the woods in the background. This one's a little more interesting though because of where it was captured. This is similar to the drone. It's not a person. This one is what is it? It's an eagle cam is what it's called, but it's like. So it's a camera in the nest of like an eagle. So there's like baby eagles in the foreground, like that have just hatched clearly. I had no idea that people did this, by the way. I had no idea that we were fucking videotaping fucking eagle nests. So in the foreground, you just see. Did I send this to you guys yet, or did I send it?
No.
Oh, okay, my bad. So in the foreground, you just have eagles, and in the background, you just have like a vague dark shape walking through the woods, and it's kind of the same thing. It could be a guy. Or it could be a Bigfoot, but it's darker than the previous video, and it's obviously not. And this one I can't see to have been a hoax. I actually looked at the article this time.
Okay. Did the person come forward? So you don't know if the person came forward.
It didn't say it in Time's article, so unless the good people at Time fucked up, I can't fuck up based on what I have in front of me. So, good on us, I guess. But it's just it's not very interesting. I just thought it was interesting because of what the actual medium of where it was caught is. Like, you just see these little fucking vague, disgusting shit in the foreground, and then you just see this weird, awkward-looking Bigfoot shadow moving through the background. And I'm just thinking, if this is a hoax, and it's not just a guy walking through the woods or something else, but again, this one, like the last one, looks like a bipedal thing, so I think it's got to be a hoax, or it's got to be a dude, or it's a Bigfoot. But is this like an official, like, fucking government thing that's fucking filming these eagles, or are these just a bunch of fucking fuckboys just out in the middle of fucking nowhere that are just like, we're gonna film eagles in our spare time, and maybe one day they were like, well, we're getting kind of bored of just filming eagles hatching. Let's just throw a Bigfoot in there. So, I wonder, I wonder what the motives were here, if there were any.
It's just a prank, bro.
If it is a hoax, it's a much more intelligent hoax than a lot of the hoax I've seen. Because one of the reasons a lot of people, whether it's true or not, disapprove of the Patterson footage is that it just seems too obvious. It's just literally footage of a Bigfoot walking, like, plain as day. And so you see that and you immediately think that it's a fucking hoax. This thing presents itself as, oh, we were just out, creeping on some birds, and then this thing happened in the background,
Mm-hmm. I am just thinking, though, I should preempt this by going, I didn't do a lot of research into the legitimacy of of any of these, really. I just kind of found articles, and I was like, these are things I want to talk about. These are videos I wanted to discuss, and I just threw it up there. I should have thrown that out at the beginning. So we're just reacting to stuff that I randomly found. I put like minimal effort into legitimizing, and now we're just giving our thoughts on it. So just disclaimer there. We're not attempting to be like, we're hardcore, we're only talking about the truth. No, we're talking about whatever I found. Whatever I had the time to scour through. So I just want to make that clear as well. But, alright, so in regards to the actual thing itself, what do you guys think? Do you think it's Bigfoot, or do you think it's a delightful Ewok? What do you think?
Well, if it is real, it has to be Bigfoot. If it is real, it has to be Bigfoot, because it's certainly not my favorite theropod, Littlefoot.
Certainly not. Well, it looks kind of squat for a Bigfoot, though, which I guess works with the name.
I fucked up. It's a sauropod, not a theropod. I fucked up.
Oh, you... See, how is anybody going to take this show seriously? We're fucking putting up fake Bigfoot videos. We're fucking talking. We can't get our dinosaurs right. Load of shit.
I mixed up two very vague classifications. Sue me.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the figure it moves quickly. I mean, it's not like that's a little awkward. But initially, it moves kind of quickly. It kind of just saunters into view, then it kind of fucks around for a minute, then it moves on. It looks kind of what you would stereotypically believe or hear Bigfoot to move like. So I don't know. It looks like a hoax to me, if not just a Bigfoot. But again, it's impossible to say given what we have here. It's just a vague shadow moving. You can only clearly see it for a couple of minutes towards the beginning. Then it's just kind of a blur moving through the frame. Because what they also do is they take the Eagle Cam footage and then they zoom in what you're seeing in the background. So what you're actually seeing in the background is way tiny than what the middle picture would have you believe, like the middle kind of image. I think this is probably a hoax.
And there's questions to be asked about like perspective and what kind of lens were you using and shit.
Who filmed this? I mean, who filmed this and what? And are there? Can you just watch videos online of just these people's Eagle Cam footage? I mean, or is did they upload this because they're like, we have all this Eagle Cam footage because we're researchers, but is this we just caught this what we think might be Bigfoot randomly? Isn't that fun?
We were totally just watching some eagles fucking a nest, and in the background, fucking King Kong walked through frame.
Exactly. So who knows? As we can only say at the end of these, who knows?
Or to quote Lumpy from King Kong 05, there's only one person that can make this sort of movement: the abominable snowman.
Right. All right. So
it's got to be the fucking title of the segment, Bill. And one day we have to turn it into like one of those History Channel like pseudoscience-y TV shows, but it's just cryptids : who knows?
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. Cryptids, who knows?
That's basically the conclusion of every cryptozoological documentary.
Yeah, there's this. I'm not even going to send this one to you guys because it's balls, but there's a lot of these like really short, undefined, vague Bigfoot videos online these days, and all on YouTube, because it's just like you just look at Bigfoot and it's just crazy, just like the amount of just people just fucking around in the woods you get. It's fascinating. And that's part of it too. I find the culture that builds up around this kind of stuff like almost as interesting, if not more interesting, than the actual myths themselves. And Bigfoot is the biggest proponent of that. The culture is fascinating, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But around the big YouTube craze and sharing videos online, of course, the Bigfoot kind of phenomenon has had to evolve to fit that medium. So now we just have these random viral videos attempting to kind of recreate a Bigfoot sighting in that kind of more modern flair, rather than your 70s like family home video of people fucking around in the woods and they stumble upon Bigfoot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's more of just like, hey, I'm just walking in the woods, I got this new phone, and they stumble upon Bigfoot. Here's an interesting example of that, though. This one's definitely a hoax. I can't imagine that it's not. This one is called Bigfoot Captured on GoPro by a Dog. And
I really hope it's just clearly a bear.
And it's just a dog with a GoPro on its back running through the woods, and at the end of the video, skip to the end, guys, there's just a fucking dark shape that kind of moves into the woods like he always does in all these videos. Just fucking walking away.
Does the dog react?
He stops. Yeah, he does. He stops, and he's like, what? But then the thing just moves off into the woods, and then the video ends, so that's it. Who put the GoPro...
timestamp I should go to?
Hang on. Let me look. I want you to see the original part of it first.
So I like how the poster didn't know. I like how the poster didn't know whether or not the dog was a girl or a boy.
26.
26 seconds?
Yeah, 26 seconds. My bad. All these are in the description.
26 seconds.
Right?
Are they, Bill?
Yeah, they will be. Trust me. I've been good. Whatever. See, I just want to know who put the GoPro on the dog. Why they just send it off by itself into the woods? And if this is a hoax, which I think it would have to be. I don't think that's just a dude. Do you think that could? See, because I think the last two could have just been dudes in dark clothes trolling through the woods. This one, and we knew that the first one was. Well, the first one was more of just a direct hoax. But the second one could have just been a guy walking through the woods. This one, though, I think it's got to be a hoax because you can see hair and everything, and you can tell that it's clearly an attempt to look like a Bigfoot. So, obviously, that's what indicates that to me.
doesn't even look like the dog is running around. It looks like they told the dog, sit boy, and then they just walked in front of it in a monkey costume. Like,
yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah,
too.
like the thing is the footage is I think the footage is too short for it to be legit.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Like,
that
there should have been more
viral,
there should-
scared, vague kind of quick, and then it's like, oh, you guys got duped, like the first one.
Yeah. Like naturally the dog would have like reacted more, and so there should have been more footage of the dog saying like what's going on. Maybe if we heard the dog like running
saying
away.
what's going on, the dog like having dialogue with the camera.
No, just hear the dog. Just hear the dog go.
also, couldn't there have been a better way to attach the GoPro to this dog, like a better angle? Because like I feel like you want the POV of the dog. Instead, I have the POV of like another dog fucking this dog in the ass. Like,
I feel like that's an interest. That's why I shared this video with you guys, though. It's an interesting perspective on this whole thing. It's not your typical run-of-the-mill Bigfoot encounter. It's also not your typical run-of-the-mill dog POV video. It's a dog fucking another dog up the ass that has a maybe Bigfoot sighting, but probably just saw a guy in a monkey costume.
look why a dog seen while that was fucking
So
another dog up the ass.
I'm glad that I brought these videos to you guys, but they're all definitely bullshit. Well, I think the most compelling one is the eagle one. Would you guys agree?
No, it's
Yeah.
definitely the first one.
The first one,
No,
the
the
one that was
first one isn't-
definitely bullshit, the one that was a
Yeah,
hoax.
that's the most plausible one.
Great.
I've never seen footage of any hoax or supposedly real Bigfoot footage. I've never seen anyone portray the Bigfoots running to that speed, which is another reason why I immediately was like, I think this is bullshit. 'Cause
Well,
they're usually
I have.
They're usually portrayed like sort of just,
I'll bring this
waltzing.
footage. I'll bring this footage.
waltzing
another-
through the trees.
I'll bring this
It's like
footage.
these are cheetahs of the Bigfoot of the big. What do you call a plural? What is the plural for Bigfoot? Bigfoots or big feet?
Nobody knows. That's the thing. Some people say big feet. I just say Bigfoots, and I say Sasquatch because Sasquatch works both ways. It's a plural and singular noun.
Yeah, everybody just use the word Sasquatch.
Yeah, that's what I usually use anyway. I don't say Bigfoot that much anymore. I usually say Sasquatch because it's kind of more
Bigfoot
legitimate.
sounds stupid.
Yeah, it does. It's a dumb name. Well, they coined
Ma,
it.
I seen
Well,
a
I mean,
Bigfoot.
everybody knows that the legend existed long before the name Bigfoot. I mean, it dates all the way back to fucking Vikings coming to this country. There are legends of wild men in the woods. And then of course the Native Americans are where it really started with the Sasquatch legend. And we just kind of took that legend. There was a couple of happenings in the 60s that most of which turned out to be hoaxes later. Where footprints were found around like a mining camp or a road crew. I can't remember which it was. And like barrels were knocked over and people were saying that they were having these weird encounters in the middle of the night with these like shadowy figures. And so they took pictures of the tracks and put it in a newspaper and they're like, Bigfoot! And that became the name of the creature. And this is in California, like Boggy Creek, which is where the American Bigfoot hotspot still kind of is today. And where all that pop culture influences kind of come from, and all the American center point of Bigfoot lore.
Did you say California? Because I thought Boggy Creek was in the south. Or am I thinking of the other one?
I'm sorry, it's not Boggy Creek. It's Bluff Creek. Bluff Creek is the one that's in California.
Yeah, Boggy Creek is the one that's in like
that's in
Alabama
Arkansas. The
Yeah,
Boggy Creek thing is a totally different thing. It's a subset of like the Bigfoot legend, but it's got its own flavor, just like the skunk ape and like the Wendigo and all that kind of stuff.
and it's super frightening looking.
Well, the theory is, and I don't want to get too much into this because I've got a whole fucking rant I still have to go on. But the southern
Please do.
Bigfoot-
We need to fill runtime.
It's fine. We don't have to make this one too. If we're below 2 hours, I'm not gonna mind. We're already over an hour, so I'm good. We'll just go until we finish what we have to talk about, and if David shows up in time, that's his own fault. But anyway, so let's get this rant over with before we get on to more. Southern Bigfoot, big feet, Bigfoot, Sasquatches would probably adapt. If they
Falk
move,
monster or folk? How do you pronounce it? Is it folk or falk?
Falk monster. That's also weird. It might be a different thing entirely. Like a lot of the southern Bigfoot legends are a lot shakier to me. They're all different. There's the lizard man and everything, and all kinds of weird shit that's reported down south.
I'll be real, you guys. I just went walking through the woods one day, and now there's all these fucking stories going on. I don't know. It's weird.
Well, I've never heard anything really in Tennessee. Maybe I've heard a little bit of the skunk ape in Tennessee, and there have been Bigfoot sightings in Tennessee.
I mean, we're right across the river from Arkansas, so it's
Oh, so
conceivable.
you've had some. there probably are some Boggy Creek, Tennessee sightings in that movie. But that movie is awful, by the way. Oh, what a... No. There are some real sightings shown in it. Or not shown in it, because there's no footage of those sightings, but there's some real sightings dramatized.
Isn't it one of those movies that, I've never actually seen it. I've seen the Nostalgia Critic review. Doesn't it, like, present itself as if it's like a documentary?
Yeah. Well, it technically is. It's a docudrama. It's like, it's a representation of the legend made into a movie. None of the actual stuff in it is in any way like real actual like footage of the creature or anything. There are bad 70s Bigfoot documentaries that claim that, and they are hilarious. There was one on Netflix a while back just called The Legend of Bigfoot. Real bad. Claimed to have footage, was not footage.
Awesome.
Great stuff. But the rant I was trying to get to and get over with was that Southern Bigfoot adapted probably to be more carnivorous. That's the theory anyway. That's like what people talk about. And then I always like to say this is the theory that I've heard in my experience with watching and listening to stuff about this. Is these are the theories I've heard kind of consistently, and that's one of them is that Bigfoot's more aggressive down south for some reason. There's also some theories that he only has 3 toes down south. That's probably just, nonsense. But it probably is all nonsense, so who knows? Maybe it's just as plausible as the rest of it. I don't think so, though. I think that's a way more monstrous construment of whatever actually may be going on down there. But anyway, so off the Southern Bigfoot, we are actually on to my primary Bigfoot. It's news, but it's more of like just, I want to tell you guys a fucked up story. And it's not fucked up necessarily because of the sighting. It's fucked up more because of the guy who sighted it. Or seen it.
This is a little ditty called Yeti, A Gay Love Story.
Yep, this is going to be us watching that whole movie. No. Have you guys ever heard of a guy called Todd Standing?
No.
Dave?
Maybe?
Todd Standing.
Maybe I heard of Todd Sitting, but I'm pretty sure he was a different individual.
Well, this Todd doesn't do a lot of standing.
I almost made that joke, but then I thought, nah. But then you went there.
So, Todd Standing, but mostly sitting, is a guy, and I don't want to pay him out too much, because I'm going to pay him out a lot in this. I don't want to pay him out more than I have to, maybe. No, I'll pay him out as much as I fucking please. I'm a wild man on this. I'm not a fucking journalist. I don't care. I'll speak my piece about a man being kind of shit. Anyway, so he is a Bigfoot researcher, sort of. He's a long time, proponent of Bigfoot. For a long time, he's been trying to get legal legislation passed in the U.S. and Canada to protect the species. And believe it or not, there is actually legislation in certain states that protects the potential existence of Bigfoot. I think
that is so fucking stupid. How do you pass legislation? How do you pass legislation to protect a creature that you don't even know if exists?
Well, again,
that would
the
be
way
like
it's worded is it's Bigfoot. It's like any potential rare legendary species that, I don't think legendary is used, but like any rare species that may exist in our wildernesses are protected by law and you can't shoot them. I think it's Washington and Oregon.
That would be like me marching on DC and being like, this is bullshit. We need to fucking protect the unicorns, fucking...
Well, but
get some legislation out.
But there's some real kind of public and physical pressure to make legislation about Bigfoot because it's in the here and now, and there's reported physical kind of belief in it in the here and now. So I kind of get where the idea is coming from, and I mean, I'm fine with it. I if there are rare animals living in those woods, I'm all for them being protected from the hunters. Great. But
how great would it be if this was the first thing fucking Trump did when he got in office?
I would be like, oh, I'm actually kind of okay with this guy now. Great.
We're gonna pass a law. We're gonna protect the big feet.
Teddy, that would have been Teddy Roosevelt's thing, but he seemed like he was more about shooting him though, because he was scared of him. This guy too, Todd Standing, scared of Bigfoot as opposed to like a tree hugging kind of like, oh, Bigfoot's awesome kind of thing. See, that's what's weird about him and why he's kind of a lunatic. He, as a Bigfoot researcher, he's probably got a more detailed and drawn out kind of interpretation of what he thinks Bigfoot is than any other that I've maybe seen. And unlike a lot of Bigfoot researchers who claim to just kind of have vague encounters, but they themselves don't offer up a lot of evidence, a lot of them it's just basing off what other people have seen, he's got some of the most controversial, high-def footage in the modern era recorded of Bigfoot. So we're going to start with his footage. Then we're going to cut to a documentary of him, and we'll find out the man behind the myth, so to speak. So here's which one is this?
Looks like a Bigfoot.
Here is that's it's funny you mentioned that. We'll talk about that in a minute. So this is the original footage that he got famous for. I don't remember the year he shot this. Let me see if it says here. I don't think so. Fuck. I'm gonna say 2012, 2011. Not recently. A couple years ago. And it's just cut to... Where are we going? Like 25 seconds. That's where you see what appears to be a Bigfoot rise up from behind a rock and then get back down. That's the whole thing. And it's super controversial because that's it, number one. And also, it's gotta be a hoax, if nothing else. And also, Todd Standing, again, unlike a lot of Bigfoot researchers and why he kind of stands out, the encounters that he describes around his videos are so, like, harrowing and life-threatening and, like, really dramatic that it makes you go, this guy kind of seems like it's bullshit. Like, this guy kind of seems like he's bullshitting us to kind of dramatize this and make and publicize himself and this encounter more than anything else. And that's why I decided to bring this to your guys' attention, because I also feel like it's kind of in line with a lot of the, like, Kickstarter campaigns and, like, creators fucking over people that Andres talks about in his news stories. I found this kind of version of it in the Bigfoot world, and I've decided to talk about it. And in fact, there is a Kickstarter campaign involved in this story. We'll talk about that towards the end.
Why does this video suddenly look like it's in Predator vision? Like, what's going on?
He's trying to zoom in on it because there's a lot of foliage around it, and it's kind of hard to see. But can you guys see what I'm talking about here? Bigfoot rising up from behind the rock?
Yeah.
It's nothing, right? It's a whole big load of nothing. What is it?
It looks like he's very close. It looks like he's very close to the location. So it's like, if he was that close, you'd think he would have been able to get more footage or try to inspect that area more.
Well, he did. He didn't get more footage. Maybe he did. That's the question here. But what he claims happened is, and I don't have a super detailed recounting of this particular video. I have a better kind of recounting of the next one. But with this one, he claimed roughly that he had come upon a Bigfoot. He calls them domiciles. That's what he claims is like a Bigfoot den. And again, he's come up with all these terms on his own. Not a lot of other people kind of subscribe to this, but it's all based on real-life primate science, so it's actually kind of plausible, and it's the most detailed sort of version of this we've ever heard, so it's kind of compelling, and that's why he kind of has a shred of credibility. But he claims...
But does he have any evidence?
Well, no, all of his... we'll talk about it, but all of his evidence is pretty much hoaxes or weird...
And first-person accounts?
Yeah, he's always by himself. That's the thing that makes him kind of a lunatic. And
Joe Rogan should have interviewed this guy instead of those idiots with the stump.
This guy actually had kind of an exclusive deal with Survivor Man, though, Les Stroud. Because Les Stroud is a guy who believes in Bigfoot. And he actually did a pretty cool Survivor Man couple of specials about Bigfoot. They were kind of boring, but that's only because they played it realistically. Where they just kind of went off into the woods where Bigfoot has been sighted and just kind of hung out for a couple days and talked about it and tried to figure out what the deal was. And they didn't really see anything, of course, because they just hung out there for like a little bit. But it was still interesting, and it was just compelling to see people try and do this thing kind of legit. But it wasn't. It was kind of not legit because they brought this guy on. Because every Bigfoot, a lot of Bigfoot researchers have kind of looked at this guy and gone, this guy's kind of a bunch of bullshit. Because he claims around these sightings, like, oh, the Bigfoots were chasing me off. They were scaring me. They were throwing rocks at me. They were going to hurt me.
They said they said mean things about me and my family. They told me to go kill myself.
They talk shit about my hair. It was really, it broke me down emotionally, and I feel like that makes my evidence more credible, because a lot of his videos are like, I'd like to get these skeptics out here to see the shit that I see and see if they're saying that it's fake then. That's not evidence, though. That's you telling a fucking sob story. And the problem with this guy is all of his evidence boils down to that. A sob story. Andres, it's exactly like what you talk about with the Kickstarter guys and the game maker guys. It's just evidence and backing up and actually making this stuff happen and work is just convoluted and ruined by a sob story. And that's what this guy kind of boils down to. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, this first video. So let's jump over to... Where should I jump to now? I guess I'll just show you guys the interview. So this is an 11-minute segment. We're not going to watch all of it. I just want to show you the interview with him. From a Canadian... You're going to love this. A Canadian R&B search and rescue documentary series. Because what happened was Todd Standing is Canadian, and he was doing some research up in like the fucking bumblefuck middle of nowhere mountains, like impenetrable dark wilderness. Hang on, don't watch the video yet. I have to find out where you have to skip to. Unless you want to put on the beginning and just kind of see what's going on without the audio on, but don't turn on the audio until I tell you to. He went missing, apparently. Nobody had heard from him for like 3 days, and he had gone missing up there looking for Bigfoot, so they sent out the R&B search and rescue. And they didn't find him for a few days. It was a whole big fiasco. They were like, oh my god, did Bigfoot get him? Did they kill him? Not the R&B guys.
When you said, oh my god, I just had flashbacks to, oh my god, to the oh my god David meme that we had.
Oh my god, David! Bigfoot got Todd Standing!
Oh my god, David!
I have to call my doctor.
David.
I have to call my lawyer. Forget about my lawyer.
I gotta call Joe Rogan.
But he got found, of course. He just walked out of the woods one day and was like, hey, are you guys looking for me? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, okay, well, I'm fine. So, cool. And then they took him back home. And in the end, they're just kind of like, well, you know, it's all well and good. People can look for whatever they want out in these woods. It just matters to us if they got out safe. But the implication is clearly like, this guy's a fucking lunatic. I can't believe he fucking wasted our time making us go looking for him with stuff like this. Fuck. What a dickhead. But whatever, he's fine. I did my job fine. But what's fun about the actual like interview and the special itself is there's all kind of footage cut in of Todd Standing like running away and discovering the Bigfoot. Obviously, it's not shot there on the day. It's like stuff they've added in later. And I just wonder what it was shot for, if they shot it for this like documentary series. Because again, this documentary series is not about Bigfoot. It's about R&B search and rescue. And also, this video that I've shown you, and I think I've seen it in the like actually segmented from the original documentary, but this version of it is on Todd Standing's actual YouTube channel, which is another matter altogether. So I don't know what he added in later, because he talks up this video like, oh my god, look at my credibility. I'm on fucking R&B search and rescue. Isn't this great? Oh my god, look at me. And that's part of the problem. And again, I don't know what he added in maybe to make himself look better by adding in all this like later footage. Like this footage of him running away from a CGI Bigfoot at one point. But anyway, the point is, and I want to show you the footage he captured first. Where is it? I can't like just skip around is the thing.
This feel familiar ending.
Where is his footage?
Get that comment on our...
Where is his fucking footage?
No knowledge. For her to have gotten some definitive...
Okay.
People will start to understand the reality of it. But come out and
so cut to...
What is successful in finding.
Okay.
Cut to 7:33 and turn off the audio for now. We'll go back to the interview in a minute. I just want to show you the actual footage that he captured on this expedition. And just watch forward. It's 2 pictures. I think there's a little bit of a video. And it was at the time, and still is, the most high-definition footage that has ever been reportedly captured of Bigfoot. It's close up, it's high definition, it is video now that I'm watching it again.
And the black eyes.
It's close up on the face. The only question is it real? It's either a hoax or it's not. It's that simple. Mm-hmm. Have you guys seen Have you guys seen the pictures and video already?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It is pretty freaky.
What do you make of it though? And
I don't like
It looks too frozen to be a mask. If it looks too frozen to be an animal, it kind of looks like more like a mask.
That was my take as well when I first saw it. It looks like a Muppet head Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
D, how do you feel about it?
Yeah. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Looks like what are those monkeys? Looks like a macaque.
Well,
Is that the right monkey?
again,
Or what's that monkey? What's the monkey in Japan that like sits in the hot springs?
Yeah, the macaque.
in Jurassic Park, the book by Michael Crichton, there is a moment where he goes...
Michael Crouton?
Michael Croutons.
Michael Crouton, yeah.
Where he goes... The method... The prerogative of a hoaxer, something along these lines, this isn't word for word, is to show scientists what they would expect to see. And what I see here is an attempt to realistically portray what a Bigfoot might look like based on what we know of primates. Like monkeys and gorillas and stuff. So, it's kind of a rough, kind of terrifying approximation of a monkey mixed in with a person. Would you guys agree?
Mm-hmm.
A bit.
And maybe a gorilla. But there's like this attempt to make a person in there as well. And I say attempt. We'll get back to that in a minute. But but it's kind of what you would expect to see, though, for a bipedal ape walking around the North American wilderness. It's got those elements. You know what I mean? So, hang on. Is this the video? Because there's another one. There's another video that actually isn't included there. Where is it? Hang on. I'm just going to take a minute to find it. But my point is, if we're going to base our definition of a hoax off dear old Michael Crichton, it seems like this is a hoax. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah.
Maybe.
You're probably correct.
It's the eyes that's bothering me the most.
Ah!
I'm not sure,
Interesting you should say that, Andres. Let me find this second video here. Because this footage he released later.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what is different about it?
The eyes.
The eyes. Now, wait, let me find it here. Is this the video? No, this is not the video. This is just a picture. Damn. I want to see the original video, because that's where the thing about the eyes really comes out. Alright, give me a minute, guys. I'm sorry. Bigfoot video. And of course, when you Google this guy, it's all like video debunked and all that, which is probably accurate. Is this the one? Oh, yes, I think this is it. Okay, yeah, this is it. You're gonna have to cut to the way end with this one. I think this is better than the other two combined. But I'm not saying whether or not that fixes my hoax theory. We'll get to that in a second. Skip to like a minute in this video. And again, these are all in the description. This one is a little different than the last one. Similar themes, but he released this one later, and it's got some differences in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what
again, he's just the gorilla. The Sasquatch is just standing there.
Yep. So, what this video looks like it's showing is a Bigfoot just kind of sitting off in the distance, just kind of standing there, just like the last one. Except this one's got a more well-defined eye, and the face looks a lot more detailed. Would you guys agree?
And it's a lot darker.
Yeah, it looks more like what I think you would expect a Bigfoot to look.
Yeah, it actually looks like completely different, like a completely different animal.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And also, if you looked at the eyes, it also blinked in this one. It blinked twice, very overtly. Did you see it? It was like blink, blink. Yeah, very overt, right?
I don't know. It kind of appears to be CG because for whatever reason, it looks a little fuzzy around the edges.
I don't doubt that CGI may be involved. But, guys, I'm sorry to say, this is all almost definitely bullshit. Aren't you surprised? Isn't your world shattered? No.
Oh, darn. My hopes and dreams.
I know, Dylan. I'm sorry. To
Yes, my hopes and dreams of befriending a Bigfoot and reenacting Harry and the Hendersons.
So, about 2 years ago in 2014...
Well, I would like to do the second part of that, but yeah.
Sure. In 2014, Todd Standing attempted to start a Kickstarter fund for a documentary called Bigfoot North, I believe was the title. And all these Bigfoot researchers formed their little communities. Mainly, they named their communities based on where they had their sighting. So Bigfoot North, he's up north, he's in Canada. So that makes sense. Hang on, before I move on with my next point, I just want to show you guys this too. Because Dylan, or one of you said before, he looks like Bigfoot. Somebody has a theory about the second video that I showed you of the face, the one with the blinking eye, that he's the one under makeup in that, if that is a hoax. Because he looks very similar to the actual fucking... Here's a weird kind of... Here we go. Here's a link. Sorry, this is taking so long. I should have been better prepared. I think David's here, too. This is going to be an awkward moment to drop him in. But whatever.
It's like looking at one of the covers to Animorphs.
Right? Exactly. But it lines up pretty well, don't it? Like, D, don't you agree?
Wow. I forgot Bing was a thing until you sent this link, Bill.
Yeah,
wow.
well, I have my computer just has Bing as a default for some reason, and I haven't been able to change it yet, so... David, are you here? Are you listening? Are you present?
Did you just call me Pierre?
I said, David, are you here? Are you present?
Oh,
get the fucking cum out of your ears.
My phone cut off the David part, so it sounded like Peter or ear.
I see. All right, well, David, you've come in on a bit of an awkward moment here. We're talking about Bigfoot. So
we can explain.
So we're doing a new segment on the show where I bring on a bunch of cryptid video and news, and we talk about it and kind of judge the authenticity of it. Don't worry, everything we talked about so far was a hoax. One of them, we got duped, or no, I got duped. Into thinking it was maybe real, but the videographer had already actually come out and said it was fake. So it's been a wild ride here tonight, and I think it's been a fun ride. We're on the last kind of leg of that segment. We're talking about a very prominent figure in the Bigfoot researcher community, the people who claim that they actually study these things and have had encounters and study them on a regular basis. He's a guy named Todd Standing. David, have you ever heard of Todd Standing?
He sounds so familiar.
You probably heard of Todd Sitting.
Yeah. You can't make that joke twice. I'm going to cut that shit out.
It's a new audience, damn it.
No, it's the same listeners, Andres.
I don't care. I'm making it a running gag.
So David,
Andres, let's be honest. You weren't being ironic.
So David, Todd Stanton, you maybe have heard of him in the past. I know you used to dabble into the Bigfoot world. He put out a bunch of really prominent videos, mainly of like close-up Bigfoot faces that people like talked about. Here, I'll just show you. I'll send you this last one that we just talked about.
All right.
It's a close-up on the face. Or no, you should be able to see them in the chat. Can you see them in the Skype chat?
I'm using my phone while I'm driving back home.
What did I tell you, man?
Never mind, David. You don't get to see them.
Always risking his life.
David, you are so fucking shady. I love it. So, David, do you remember a couple of years ago there was like pictures and video put out? They showed him on Survivor Man, the Les Stroud show. They did Survivor Man Bigfoot. It was like close-ups on a Bigfoot's face, like high-def footage and pictures. Do you remember that?
I'm not sure. I might have seen it. Like, it's been a while since I've dabbled into the black arts of Bigfoot.
Imagine it in your mind's eye, if you will. This guy, Todd Standing, right? He starts
Imagining Bigfoot's face?
Yes.
It would look more like a mullet bill.
Fine. It works fine for this scenario. So, Todd Standing...
The way this Bigfoot looks, David, is if you've ever seen Teen Wolf, the dad from Teen Wolf with shark eyes.
Well, did you see the one without those shark eyes where it was more human eyes?
Yeah, that's how I always imagine Bigfoot, with human eyes.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Instead of black, soulless Ewok eyes.
There's two different pictures that I showed them that come from the same guy, Todd Standing. One of them was, like, blacked out eyes, and one of them was, like, real human eyes.
Could you share it?
Well, I can't. Well, I mean, you're on your fucking phone. What are you going to look at it on?
I know, but there's red lights that I could just,
All right, I'll send it to you on Facebook. Hang on.
Don't die, David.
Oh, he just hung up. Great.
He's dead.
What's even the point? I see. We're almost done here. I should just finish this up and fuck him. No, just I'll send him this video and then I'll keep going with my story. I'm almost
Fuck Todd Standing.
We're towards
Fuck
the
Todd Standing. I want a Bigfoot with GMK eyes.
I'm putting this in the group chat. Okay, so back to fucking Todd Standing. So we're not going to do that. Number one, he's probably
like,
a fine human
that's
being.
nasty.
He's probably a fine human being. That's the thing. Before I continue, before I talk about why he's a hoaxer, before I slam his name, I just want to say I don't think he's necessarily a bad guy. I just think that he's overly enthusiastic about this thing, and he's trying to prove it real by making fake evidence. And that is fucking ridiculous and dumb. Why would you do that? If you genuinely love this kind of stuff and you genuinely think there's something out there...
Sounds like a creationist. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Anyway.
Ooh, damn. Coming out with the fucking sharp Bible humor. So original. But I just think that he gets caught up in trying to prove this stuff real and with his agenda and with supporting himself as like the biggest, best, most intelligent, and most researched Bigfoot researcher, which he thinks he is. That he just gets lost in it and just has turned his career and reputation into nonsense because of it. And he was already starting out as a Bigfoot researcher, so that's quite the leap, I think. But he tried to... Now, what part of this story should I say first? Okay, so first things first. His whole production company and his whole group, it's called North Bigfoot, but it's also called, and it was called first, Sylvanic Bigfoot, which, just like North, is in reference to the location, the Sylvanic Bigfoot. So it's this place called the Sylvanic Valley, I believe, is what he said it was called. Now, he's claimed over the years that in 2005, he made his first Bigfoot documentary. He went to this place, the Sylvanic Valley, and apparently it is like a lost world. Like, it's cut off from the rest of the forest, and there's just Bigfoot galore there. And they are just thriving, and they don't hide. They're just all up and about. It's their world. It's like the Lost World, but without the Jurassic Park part. You guys interested?
The Lost World, Bigfoot. Yeah, sure, why not?
Does he have any evidence to support this, or is
Apparently
this all, again, just first-hand accounts?
Guess what? Apparently it's just a fucking hole in the wall. There is no Sylvanic Valley, apparently. The First Nation people that he claims to have discovered it through, the Native Americans, I mean, who are, of course, very in tune with Bigfoot lore, and he claims to have a very close relationship with them, and that's supposed to legitimize his claims, even though the First Nation people that he claims showed this valley to him, they've never heard of it, and the people who finally did find it, it's just a cave. It's like a hole in the side of a mountain. There is no valley. It's just a cave. And they went inside of the cave, and there's nothing in there. There is no valley. There is no Sylvanic Valley. There is no Lost World of Bigfoot. It's very sad. So, as you can see, this guy's credibility is only sliding and sliding more and more down the rabbit hole, or just down the fucking toilet, I guess. More aptly. And to put the final nail in the coffin, to just kill this guy's reputation off good and final, it turns out that his sister... so he started this Kickstarter for this Bigfoot documentary.
Is Bigfoot.
Well, maybe. She might be. You'll see when we get to the end here.
Hey, man, it's possible. It's possible. There's this one family I learned about in school that they live in, like, Mexico somewhere.
Yeah,
and they've
the
got
hairy
this...
people in the circus, right?
Yeah, they get that rare genetic condition where their body is just covered in hair.
They've been in all sorts of monster documentaries. They've been called as Bigfoots, werewolves, fucking ape men. Like, it's anything and everything with them. They're loving it. They're all over the American media with this monster shit. But let's get to the meat of the story then and finish it off. So he starts this Kickstarter. It's called Sylvanic Bigfoot or Bigfoot North. I can't remember which. I think it's Bigfoot North. And it was a documentary. And you want to know how much money he wanted for it on a Kickstarter?
$100 billion.
$100,000.
Okay, that's kind of average for a usual Kickstarter project.
Seriously?
But was he using this for again?
A Bigfoot documentary?
Yeah, but here's the thing, Andres.
Filmmaking is very expensive. You know how expensive those cameras got to be.
What do you need? What do you need for a Bigfoot documentary, Andres? You need woods; those are free.
He's a guy running off into the woods,
you gotta
Bigfoot
need permits
with a flare. I didn't show you guys that video, but that happened at one point.
Permits, but that ain't gonna run like 50,000.
He's not really worrying about that.
Distribution.
Sure. Yeah, but he's got
just to make.
He's a
just
pretty
to make the
widely
damn
known
thing.
name in the community now, though.
You need a camcorder, editing software, and a monkey suit for one of your friends to wear. That's all you need.
I'm thinking about this you want to make this like super professional looking.
Yeah, well, it's clearly his idea. If he asked for $100,000, you want to know how much he got?
2.
Oh boy, I can't wait. Let's hear it.
I believe if the numbers in my head are correct, and I don't have the page open, I believe it was $9,000, and it took a month and a half to get there.
Wait, 9,000 or 90,000?
9,000.
Oh.
And the Kickstarter was only supposed to be going on for 2 months.
You can buy a camcorder. He can buy a camcorder and a monkey suit with that. He's clearly already got editing software.
That's what I'm saying. I think you can, but that's the thing though, D. The big budget of it said to people, "Oh, this guy's gonna hoax something, and he needs a lot of money to hoax it." Which seems to be the idea because there's a Bigfoot summit, and I know what you guys are gonna say. There's a Bigfoot summit that they hold in Washington.
Hey man, we go to Godzilla summits, all right?
True.
Yes, Andres, but the difference is that most people at G-Fest
we acknowledge that Godzilla is not real. Most of us do.
It's still real to me, damn it.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters in the end. Right?
That would be like if a bunch of people went. That would be like if a bunch of people who still believed in Santa Claus whenever you're at a SantaCon.
They do. That is a thing.
In Santa Ana.
It should be there. They should do it that way. They don't though because they're idiots and they're bad at their jobs. Todd Standing though, pretty bad at his job. So turns out that the Kickstarter was a total failure. He goes to this Bigfoot summit and he's like, we'll see what happens in the future. We're gonna still try and make it. We're gonna hope that somebody comes along and funds us. But it's gonna have to be a private benefactor now because there's no Kickstarter campaign. And I'm sure, Andres, you'd know this better than anybody. Kickstarter campaigns, you don't get any of the money if you don't reach your goal.
Right, that's what Indiegogo is for. With Indiegogo, you can actually keep whatever people donate to you, even if you don't reach your goal.
So he didn't see any of even that $9,000. So he's just relying on private benefactors at this point. If anybody wants to come forward and offer him money, which was partially.
It's like the equivalent of setting up Patreon.
He would have been better off
he never set up a Patreon though. He didn't set up anything. He was just like, if anybody wants to pay me to make this, I will. But
just email me and send me the money like through shady means instead of somewhat legit means like PayPal or Patreon.
I love how I just see in the Skype chat Andres puts like a SantaCon link, and I'm just like, I just guessed that was real. I was just bullshitting. I'm like, that's probably a thing. It is.
Oh my gosh! Oh my god!
Are you looking at? I don't want to look at the website because I don't want to get distracted. I want to wrap this up.
But surely SantaCon is more of a G-Fest type thing and less of a Bigfoot Summit type thing,
Probably.
right?
Oh my god!
Like they have
that. It's crazy. It's so much. Look at all the jingle bells. My god, there's so many
SantaCon
Santas.
is featured in Bad Santa too.
Oh great!
It looks like the fucking warehouse from Jingle All the Way.
It does. That's exactly what I was thinking of. That was called something else. That's what I thought of when you said SantaCon, but I was like, that wasn't called that though. It was called something.
For anyone wondering, the next SantaCons are going to take place in Fredericksburg and Santa Cruz. It's in Santa Cruz.
Oh my god, it is. They're good at their jobs. They're better at their jobs than Todd Standing.
Asheville, Chicago, Fulton, Hayward, Indianapolis, Michigan City, Portland, Princeton, St. Petersburg, San Antonio. This is only December 2nd and 3rd. These are nationwide.
Oh shit!
These people need to get their life together. They could be out looking Bigfoot.
Speaking of, so Todd Standing is apparently quitting the Bigfoot research industry, I suppose you could call it.
Now he's gonna go look for Nessie.
No. So at this Bigfoot summit, somebody questioned him very publicly in the opening. All the big Bigfoot researchers there, big Bigfoot researchers. It's funny, get it? He said he was grilled about the fact that apparently it came out due to like some public records that were dug up that his sister is a special effects artist. And
My God. And a Bigfoot. That's amazing.
It's right. Like, what are the odds? And
She made Bigfoot.
He later confirmed that she was there for most of the footage that he shot. And also confirmed
she's the Bigfoot.
He would not. That's what I was joking about before. And he
that first video, those were her real eyes.
Yeah. And in the actual summit, he was like, I will not confirm that she's a special effects artist. That's not true. But I will confirm that she's a cosmetic artist. So even still, she's makeup. She knows how to do makeup. And cosmetic artists, they can go pretty far in terms of special effects makeup. Like, I know some girls who just know how to do makeup okay, but they can put on a fucking show if they have to. So, I think that's probably what happened here. So, Todd Standing is
She's actually the best makeup artist ever because she has to use makeup every day to look like a human instead of a Bigfoot. So it's very impressive.
And that
work.
is a feat unto itself.
So much tape involved to keep all that hair under the mask, you know.
I mean, I would definitely believe that she's a Bigfoot too, because look at how hairy her fucking brother is. I mean, he already looks like a Bigfoot, so I think it's definitely it's more plausible than these videos being real. I think, and him being credible.
You see, what happened is she's a Bigfoot, and he is the missing link between Bigfoot and man.
They're just one generation apart, but they're really just their whole species apart. So Todd Standing has achieved all kinds of feats of his own. He's been on Finding Bigfoot, where they thoroughly discredited him and told everybody that he was full of shit. And then he was on Survivor Man Bigfoot, who made the claim of, I don't necessarily believe everything he's saying, but a lot of what he's saying makes sense to me, and I think that there's a chance that something's out here. And everybody else has just kind of gone, he seems like a weird, creepy, egotistical lunatic, and his sister is a Bigfoot / special effects artist, so who can trust him? What do you guys think? That's the story of Todd Standing.
Sounds like it.
Sounds
it
like
all makes sense.
Sounds like Bill's life story.
Fuck off. I would have a better sister than that if I had a sister.
I mean, I don't want to make this about his sister's race, color, or creed, but I just don't trust them. You know what I mean?
Bigfoot? Who would? They're out hiding in the woods. Why don't they come out?
I don't trust them big feet.
All shady, hiding in the woods and shit. Come out and talk to me if you're so fucking nice and shit. Otherwise, I'm gonna shoot you.
Talk to me, man to ape.
Those fucking Washington bullshit laws about Bigfoot being protected, that shit ain't gonna stop me unless you fucking come out and convince me that you're not gonna kill me. Anyway.
Come and fight me like a half man.
Well, guys, half men in a half shell. It's just as good as the Ninja Turtles. Guys, that's all I have for, what was the segment name we came up with? Cryptids.
Cryptids, who knows?
Right, cryptids, who knows? So I hope you guys enjoy it. What do you guys think for the first go of it?
I'm telling you, Bill, that's a great name for like a public access television series. This is how we get famous, Bill. We sell it as you're the diehard believer and I'm the skeptic, and we just fucking debate this shit.
Well, what did you guys think of what we did here?
And I'm there.
And now we go to our Japanese Bigfoot correspondent, Andres.
There is a Japanese Bigfoot as well.
Yep, sounds like it.
Would you guys enjoy this segment? Did you have some fun making fun of these dopey Bigfoot sightings?
Yeah.
I had more fun making fun of that dude's sister. Which, if you're listening, Miss Standing, I'm so sorry.
Do you think we should keep this up on the reg?
What's that?
Do you think we should keep this up on the reg?
Yeah, totally.
On the reg. Talking like them kids. Yeah, sure.
David, I know you were only here for the back end of it, but I hope you had a good time too. David, I feel bad you were only here for the back end of this, but we're pretty much done, man. Is there anything you wanted to say to the people before we wrap up?
About Bigfoot?
About anything, because you weren't here for the whole fucking podcast. We talked about a lot more except Bigfoot, but you were only here for the tail end of the Bigfoot part, so I feel bad.
Talk about video game consoles that nobody cares about.
Mm-hmm. Most of it was just us talking about stuff that we were all very vaguely indifferent to, but had fun making fun of based on that. So it was a good time. But is there anything you want to get up on your soapbox about and throw out to the people?
About Bigfoot.
No, about
anything.
I will punch you in the Bigfoot if you don't stop.
Wait, are we going into my segment or?
Do
Do you have a
Do
segment?
you have a thing prepared?
Yeah.
Holy shit! Great. Oh yeah, go for it. I didn't think you would. My
What
bad.
the hell?
I just assumed that you were. You didn't tell me you had anything. Dylan didn't do anything, so I was just like, oh, David definitely didn't do anything. I didn't even know you read the message I put up earlier. You didn't respond to it. All right, so go for it.
All right, so
David,
what? Right?
So David, before, but I haven't mentioned your segment on air yet. So what is your segment that you're going to be doing every week?
Okay. Originally, we were gonna. The original plan was me talking about obscure tokusatsu science fiction stuff. Well, I want to change it to. Well, I want to extend it to beyond that, like films that are somewhat obscure.
Oh, sure.
In other words, only movies that I watch and you guys probably might not ever watch.
So,
Even though I
weird
might
shit you
recommend
may
it.
or may not care about with David Hernandez.
Perfect. I love it.
It's a working title.
Sure, I love it. Sounds great.
No. Weird shit you may or may not care about with Grizzard.
Okay.
Oh,
David! It's with David.
With David.
Weird shit you may or may not care about with
David, a.k.a. Grizzard.
you motherfuckers.
Weird cinema retrospective. David's weird cinema retrospective. There we go. Go for it.
David Grizzard Hernandez.
Dave, we've got the name down pat. I think. So what is your weird film that you're bringing to us today?
Okay. Well, I wouldn't personally consider it weird. I mean, you might, depending on your point
So I
of view.
guess it doesn't even matter then. No, it's just not.
I mean, okay. I saw this movie in theaters a couple weeks back, surprisingly. It's a zombie movie from South Korea called Train to Busan. Have you guys heard of it?
Yes, I have.
I
don't
saw
know.
your first
I know
time.
nothing about it except the name, and apparently it's really fucked up. What's the deal?
I wouldn't say it's okay. Yeah, it's fucked up. In some, I mean, not fucked. Okay, not fucked up in like end of Evangelion fucked up.
Okay.
Oh,
Just
nothing
fucked
can
up.
ever get that fucked up.
So is it not weird? Is it not weird Asian? It's just fucked up horror movie.
I guess to a certain extent, like I wouldn't consider it personally fucked up.
Okay.
Because what I consider fucked up is something like End of Evangelion or the anime
Women
person.
getting split in half and falling apart and turning the sea into blood. Yeah, and I would say so. I would
Yeah,
say that's a little
shit
a little
like
more,
that is
a
what I
little
consider fucked
little
up.
more fucked up than maybe what you're going to be talking about here. But my question is it kind of fucked up in an Asian kind of stereotypically weird sense, or is it fucked up in a well, this is just kind of a horror movie, so it's going to kind of go over the top with the horrific gore and everything? Which one is it? Would you say?
It's not either of those two. The best way to call it fucked up is emotionally fucked up, because I actually did.
Oh, so it's more Asian in that way. Okay.
Like I did get emotionally teary at the end of the movie. Actually, at the
wow.
end of the movie, I saw a couple people crying, like legitimately crying. I'm like, holy shit!
You saw this in theaters?
Yeah, I saw this in theaters.
In like a dumb art house cinema, or in like a major multiplex? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, a major theater. No, apparently this was released in the United States and South Korea at the same time around July this year.
Oh, okay.
And I guess they re-released it for 1 week a couple weeks ago. And coincidentally, my friend told me about it a few days before, and I saw the trailer on Sci-Fi Japan that Train to Busan was being re-released in the United States for 1 week. I'm like, oh shit, this is a perfect opportunity to see it, because it's online in HD. So I could have saved myself the trouble, but I wanted to see it in theaters.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And it was totally worth it, because it's honestly, in my opinion, the best zombie movie I've ever seen.
What's it about?
Well, like the title suggests, it's about a train to Busan.
And there are zombies on the train? Are they passengers? Are they attacking the train? Like, what happens?
Okay, okay, I'll try not to spoil it too much.
All right, if you want to do that, that's fine.
The core of the story is about a father and his daughter. They're estranged, and she wants to go to her mother's for her birthday, which is in some place called Busan in South Korea. So the father,
which I guess is a town.
Yeah, the father reluctantly agrees to take her to Busan, and in between there's some zombie stuff that happen.
I love that.
That's the bulk of the story.
So, but do they explain where the zombies come from?
Kind of. There was this vague hint that the father No, not the father. The company that the father works for may be responsible, but I felt it was kind of like it was kind of weak.
But they don't ever directly go like, I am the villain and I made the zombies. Ugh.
Yeah, they never do something like that.
They
like,
never pull the Attack on Titan thing.
Yeah, there's this scene where the father, he talks to one of his coworkers, and the coworker, you never see him, but you hear him on the phone, and he's crying. He was all like, we did this is our fault.
Oh, so I would say that's pretty direct then, I would say.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Does the whole thing take place in the train? I guess so, based on the title, huh?
A majority of the movie does take place in the train, but sometimes they stop here and there to see if they could reach like these safe zones. But of course, they're overrun by zombies, so they have to keep getting back into the train.
Sounds like monsters. Sounds like Gareth Edwards' Monsters.
It also seems like that sounds like a lot of modern day zombie stories of characters just going from location to location looking for a safe spot, only to move on.
Yeah, it sounds like The Walking Dead, and why I don't watch that show.
Coincidentally, recently I got into The Walking Dead. To be honest, I'm not seeing the hype around it. Even though
I never really got it either. The little bit that I saw.
Yeah, and this movie, Train to Busan, it blows Walking Dead out of the water in many ways. As a zombie thriller.
What are the zombies like?
Actioner. Huh?
What are the zombies like?
Yeah, are they slow zombies? Are they running zombies? Are they decrepit, or are they mostly human-looking?
They're mainly running zombies. One of the interesting things they've done with the zombies here, I'm not sure if this has been done before, because I'm more of a kaiju fan than a zombie fan, honestly.
Oh, really?
We wouldn't guess that based on the podcast title.
Yeah, well, here's what they do with the zombies. They can't see anyone in darkness.
The zombies can't.
The zombies can.
Weird.
So whenever the train goes into these tunnels, that's where the humans take their opportunity to move from one car to the other that's full of zombies.
So are the people on the train getting turned into zombies? Are the zombies coming onto the train from outside, or is it a mix of both?
Kind of.
So it's a mix of both.
This is how it begins. How the people on the train get infected. One person who has already been infected, and it is still human, but is on her verge to being infected. She gets on the train, and once the doors close, she becomes a zombie and starts to attack one passenger. Then that zombie that got infected attacks another, yada, yada, yada.
Your basic situation. Gotcha.
Yeah.
How quickly does it kind of move through the main cast of characters? Does it kind of run through a lot of characters we meet early on very quickly? Do we spend a lot of time with people on the train, or is it pretty much just the father and daughter?
Surprisingly, you spend a lot of time with the core principal characters. You have the mother and the father. You have a husband and his pregnant wife. You have these two, this couple that are into like some sport, baseball. I'm not sure. Maybe it's some South Korean sport I'm not familiar with.
It sounds like the John Q of zombie South Korean horror movies, or it's just like it's a bunch of people locked in a room. They all come from different walks of life, and they have to deal with some bullshit. And in this case, it's not a guy holding a gun to their heads; it's fucking zombies attacking their train.
That sounds exactly like Train to Busan.
Perfect. Is there any insurance allegory in it? That's not even allegory in that movie. That's just straight up social commentary.
I'm not sure. Well, based on the reviews that I read after I saw the movie, there was some social commentary in there that I missed.
To what extent?
I'm not sure, because the villain of the movie, I guess he represents corporate greed. Because
who's the villain then?
Some guy, some old guy who keeps fucking people over, and
do we see him?
One of those guys, huh?
Do we see him?
Yeah, he's in the movie a lot.
Oh, and, so we know that he spread the zombie plague.
No, it wasn't him.
Oh,
he's just a random passerby in the train.
Oh, I see.
Who's trying to survive.
But there's a human dickhead there. See, I don't like that. That's always so unpleasant to watch. I guess it's like, realistic, but just fuck those dudes. So we spent a lot of time with him though.
Yeah, surprisingly, not a significant amount of time, but a well balanced screen time with the villain and the good guys. And
it's like that scene in Snakes on a Plane where that fucking greedy businessman throws the dog at the anaconda. Do you guys remember that? That always was like, that fucked me when I was young. I was like, that's the fucking weirdest, evilest thing I could ever imagine. A guy just rips a dog out of a woman's hand and throws it for a snake to eat. Presumably to like just have it like linger for a second, just to hold it off, but it doesn't. The dog is tiny. It does nothing.
Well, I mean, if I felt that I could save my own life by feeding a dog to an anaconda, I fucking would.
I mean, who wouldn't? But in the situation, it's ridiculous, and it literally does nothing, and the guy dies in 2 seconds anyway. Deservedly so, of course, but even still.
That's actually what the villain does in this movie. He keeps throwing people that
he threw a dog to an
anaconda.
There's a zombie anaconda? That's crazy. That's awesome. I gotta see this movie.
Zombie Conda coming soon on the Sci-Fi Channel.
God, how is that not a thing yet in the world of Ghost Shark?
Now. It is now.
And
somebody fucking working for that channel has heard that and gone, we're doing it. Somebody listening has gone, we
called
work for the Sci-Fi Channel, we're just gonna do it.
There's a movie called Piranhaconda, so Zombaconda needs to get.
See, but they have to start zombifying all their big monsters. Like, they haven't really done that yet. I don't think they did a zombie giant shark or whatever, a zombie mega shark. They need to do that. That should be the piranha, zombie fucking octopus.
That should be the triumphant return of Sharktopus. It should be Sharktopus versus Zombieconda.
Yeah, that's great. Fucking zombie killer whales.
Just create a zombie cinematic universe.
Zomborcas.
My God.
But David, that sounds interesting. So, does it have a happy ending?
It has a bittersweet ending.
Okay, I figured.
Okay,
South Korean horror movie.
I wouldn't say in the same fashion as the ending to Godzilla 54.
So nobody commits suicide with a weird experimental weapon.
Okay, yeah, never mind. To the same extent as Godzilla 54.
Oh, so somebody actually kills themselves.
Somebody does.
I was fucking joking. My God, I did not expect that to be accurate.
Right.
Oh, my bad.
A very significant character dies near the end, and it's one of the emotional moments of the movie.
Does he have an eye patch and fought in World War II?
I mean, if a zombie bit it out.
Oh, okay, but I was joking.
He's
the
Asian.
First time.
He's Asian.
I was joking the first time, so I was
like Dr. Serizawa.
If it happened this time, that'd be weird. That's racist on your part, Dave, but okay.
I mean, I was trying to make the connection.
Well done. You did good. Your racism came out for you in the end.
You made me racist.
I did. That's the effect I have on people, I feel. Do you like it?
Oh, I loved it. I really loved it.
Interesting.
I'm honestly getting the Blu-ray when it comes out, which is in January.
I'm holding off special effects good?
It's pretty good for a South Korean movie.
Are there a lot of...
I'm not sure.
You got to realize that the Koreans are kind of on a different scale than we are in terms of quality of special effects. I mean, look what they were doing with fucking Yongari in 2000, whatever.
Revolutionary, pioneering work in the industry, I feel.
It was actually the most expensive South Korean movie at that time.
Is it still most expensive, or have they outdone it yet?
No, I think some other movie outgrossed it. I mean, for 1999 and 2001, it was considered... Because young Gary got a financial backing from the military, as a matter of fact.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
No. It was funded by the government, and the military supported it because they allowed them to use their vehicles and stuff like that.
That must be why there's all American actors in it.
Yeah.
Because I know that they we want
the South Korean military is what I mean, not the American military.
No, I know. But I'm saying that they wanted the movie to play overseas as like kind of an... Because it takes place in America, too. Like, it's a weird fucking movie. Because it's a South Korean attempt to make like a Hollywood blockbuster.
Which fails.
Yeah. It's shit. But it's interesting shit, though. It's really interesting shit.
It succeeds as an American sci-fi original movie.
Yeah, I listen. There are a lot worse kaiju movies out there. Like I might even be more inclined to pop it in over 98 at some point. Like, depending on my mood. Like, I saw 98 in the theaters in the past 2 years. Like, I never have to watch that movie again. Like, I would
You
probably...
saw it for Rip Tracks?
Yeah. So I'd never have to see that movie again. But I would maybe one day want to sit down and watch Youngry again. I mean, certainly under the influence of heavy amounts of alcohol and drugs, but, you know, that's how I watch most things now anyway, so who cares? It doesn't matter.
I see 98 occasionally just because, despite there being a better American Godzilla movie now, 98 gets the most airplay on TV. Unless they're doing a Japanese Godzilla marathon somewhere, you can Google Godzilla on almost any day of the week.
2014 is slowly getting out there, but it's been slow. It was on TNT recently. Sometimes
you can get 2014 results when you like go into your whatever your search feature is on whatever your cable provider is. If you just type in Godzilla, sometimes you can get 2014 as a result. If El Rey's doing a marathon, you can get some Japanese films, but mostly it's just 98 on like 5 different channels at a time. It's insane.
Everybody has the rights to it because it's Sony, and anything that they can make money off of, they license, and they're like, take 98, put it out there.
But it's anyway, probably part of a giant package of films.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's Men in Black, all that stuff they made around that time. Because they're floundering over there. Anyway, Dave, is there anything else you wanted to throw in about the Train to Busan?
Not much. I just highly recommend you to see it in any way you can. Because it's a very, very different type of zombie movie. I mean, it takes these generic zombie tropes that you see in like The Walking Dead, even Shaun of the Dead, and it twists it in a South Korean type of way.
Sounds compelling.
While at the same time delivering something that's very, very emotional.
I like that. Because that's the thing I liked about Shin Godzilla that I think maybe turned some people off. And I'm glad that we're going to kind of get that with this. So, cool. I'm interested to see it then. I have to sit down and watch that and Maggie, the Arnold Schwarzenegger zombie movie. You guys ever hear about that?
I heard about it.
Yeah, it's an indie movie he did a couple years ago. His daughter gets bitten by a zombie, and she's she's turning into a zombie because of the virus. And it's just him like fighting, like protecting her from like people and zombies and animals and surviving in the middle of the woods during a zombie apocalypse. Apparently, it's really good. I want to see that.
Did he directed it?
If he did, that's awesome. I definitely want to give it a go more so for that then. But it looks really good. Apparently, his acting is like on a different level than what he usually does. So that's what I'm really into seeing. And I'll do a double feature, that and The Train to Busan. See some emotional, interesting, different kind of zombie movies. Because the genre is overplayed to me. Anything like post-Romero, like, I don't care. Like, I really don't care. My favorite zombie movie is probably Day of the Dead. I like that one a lot. And then I like the Call of Duty Nazi Zombies. I like that a lot as well. Everything else can kind of go fuck itself.
I like George Romero in Call of Duty Zombies.
Yeah, that's great too. But my point is, I want to see this one because it sounds different, and I want to go round robin. Do you guys want to see it?
My 2 favorite modern zombie movies, and again, because as you said, I think the genre is way overplayed. My 2 favorite modern zombie movies are both comedies. Fucking Shaun of the Dead and Zombieland. They're great.
I haven't seen either of those yet still. I've seen clips.
Oh, really?
I've seen a lot of clips of both, though. They're 2 of those movies where it's like I've seen so many clips and reference to it over the years. I'm like, yeah, I get it.
They're both genius.
Yeah, I will watch them at some point. Yeah, they seem
Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead being genius in like that British humor kind of way, and Zombieland just being like fucking hilarious in the American way.
Do you want to see The Train to Busan though?
I would be open to it. I don't think I'm gonna like actively go after it, but like if it should come my way, I would not say it nay.
If they put it,
I could get a torrent for you guys because apparently it's out there online.
I'd like that.
Out there
nice.
For
okay.
HD.
Send it my way, son. But do you? But you wouldn't go out to your local shit art house cinema to see it?
I don't have a local shit art house cinema. It's all fucking corporate chains, man.
That's cool. All right. Well, before we fall more down the rabbit hole, Andres, do you want to see this?
Yeah, it sounds interesting. Just like Dylan, I probably won't actively try to find it, but I can always, I can add this to my very, very short list of Korean movies that I have seen in my life.
All right. More importantly, does it sound weird? I'd say so. Zombies attacking.
David,
really?
Weird insurance.
David, is
dudes.
Yeah. It sounds interesting. It sounds interesting, but not weird. It's like
I disagree.
You never really had a zombie train movie, but it doesn't sound
doesn't sound out of the realm of possibility. It's like if you say Zombie Train movie, I'd say, oh, okay. It doesn't. I don't go.
Tired of these
oh,
motherfucking zombies.
It's not outwardly weird, but it's just It's got some sort of weird touches that are sort of the culture that I think makes it a fitting entry into this segment, and a good place to start. Good on you, Dave. Good job. Thank you for coming prepared,
Dave,
man. I mean,
Dave, I have one question for you, Dave, that I need to ask regarding any Korean film, because this is the watermark. Is it better than D-War?
Oh Christ, that's another one that was trying to be a Hollywood blockbuster and failed miserably. I think that's worse than Reptilian, though.
Although we still have a lot of people saying, hey, am I the only person that likes D-War on Toku Legion?
But it's a piece of shit.
I enjoy it, ironically.
What the hell are you talking about? There's no dragon war in it until the very end. It's just a big snake the whole time.
They're not even dragons. They're two snakes wrestling each other.
It's closer to like the Asian interpretation of dragons, but they're still not even that.
Well, yeah. There's an Asian myth
serpents.
where
They talk about in the movie. They're serpents, not dragons. They haven't turned into dragons yet.
Yeah, they start out as serpents and they have to earn their dragonhood. Which
wasn't it like a sequel or something, or like announced?
Who gives a fuck?
I think it's in development. I don't know if it's already released. I just know that
it's in development. Okay, guys, it's a little late. Back off. Let's just.
But it's the closest thing we'll ever get to Gara Sharp in a movie. So that's something.
I would prefer not seeing. I would prefer not seeing him at all, to be honest. All right, guys, I'm tired. We're over 2 hours. We filled out the time limit. We brought in all our new segments. I thought this was great. Dave, thanks for bringing on that awesome find. That's great. I'm glad we got some mileage out of that. Andres, good job with the news as always. Dylan, you're a fuck up. And I had fun with my Bigfoot, my Bigfoot news. So anyway, all in all, it's been a pretty successful regular episode. I find. I think that the new format will work out well for us. So just kind of basic announcements as always before we wrap up here. You can like the Sons of Serizawa Network homepage on Facebook. I'm going to start putting up our podcasts early, or a little early, like pretty much as soon as they're ready to go on YouTube. I'll put them up unlisted for a little bit if it's late at night. Toss them onto the Facebook page. If you're up, you can see them, and then in the morning they'll be up for everybody to see at a decent hour, so on YouTube in public. So you can like the page to get them a little early if you're up late at night cruising for some disgusting, deplorable discussion on podcast. From
little intellectuals,
exactly, who don't know what
who
they're
have no idea.
about.
Right, because we have no idea how the real world works, and because we live in our mother's basement.
How does it work, Andres?
I don't know, and I live on the other half of it.
Coming to you live from Andres' mother's basement in Japan.
So you can also like the Godzilla Odyssey page for likewise deplorable discussions. Also that you can get early, but you'll get those a full day early when we put those up. Dave, we're going to do the next one soon because we put off the last one. So next week or two we'll probably get together and throw it together. Talking
about the Odyssey thing?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Which will be on Godzilla crossing into the DC universe. Should be fun. He's going to fight the Justice League. Or the Justice Society. We'll see. Probably the Justice League, though. I don't know anything about the Justice Society.
Going to be the 90s Justice League?
Yeah, it'll be Blue Beetle, Guy Gardner when he wasn't Green Lantern. He was just Guy Gardner in a dumb outfit.
No, man, it's got to be
Fire and Ice.
It's got to be the Justice Friends, man.
Even better. It'll be Crunk.
Fucking Major Glory.
Major Glory. I forget the rest of their names.
Halt, alien! You dare step foot on American soil without a green card?
All right.
Yeah,
you can follow.
Amazing mixture of the words Valhalla and Van Halen. I love it.
You can follow me on Facebook. I'm at Billy Worster. I gotta get that changed at some point. I gotta find out how to do that. You can follow me on Twitter at Bill_Worster. A little bit more professional, I think. A little better. And you can also follow me on Snapchat at the Sassiest T-Rex. Don't though, because I like having as few Snapchat followers as possible. Makes me more free. Makes me more kind of able to do whatever I want on there. Mostly post pictures of my balls, but it's a rare.
I can vouch for that.
Oh yeah, David follows me.
Oh shit, the tables have been turned.
He's seen my balls, both in person and via Snapchat. Anyway.
Oh, God, they're like planets.
planets.
You know those pictures don't actually disappear after 7 seconds or whatever the fuck it is, right?
Well, it's hard to find them otherwise. Anyway, so until next time, everyone, I'm Bill Worster, a.k.a. Zazubaar. We thank you for joining us.
And I'm Gorzard, and also like the Dank Bill memes page.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm SuperDam64. And as ugly as I find the first form of Shingoji, at least he has a personality, I'm finding.
And I have been Andres Perez, a.k.a. Kaiju Noir.
The science is sound, I guess.